When the end has come, the building's falling down fast. When we broke the land and dried up all the sea. When everyone has lost their hands around us, you will find him, you'll find him next to me. Oh, next to me. Ooh, next to me. Ooh, next to me. Ooh, you will find him, you'll find him next to me. Next to me. Ooh, next to me. Ooh, next to me. Ooh, you will find him, you'll find him next to me. Oh, next to me.
Ladies and gentlemen, would you kindly take your seats? Entree is now served.
Yes, welcome to Rugby.com.au and our stream of the Rugby Australia.
Okay. Same old story back again. She's not a lover, she's just a friend. No second time, you know, arguing, the blame on me. Now you think it's funny. Now you wanna spend your money. Oh, but you forgot when you were down. Who was around? Call my lover and call again. What's in the world is happening? Listen here, but don't yell at me. Is it running? All you wanna do is smoke chronic. Oh, but you forgot when you were down. Who was around? I can't eat, I can't sleep anymore. Waiting for love to walk through the door. I wish I didn't miss you anymore. So so memories don't live like people do, except for ever with me and you. I wish I could bring back the man I knew who was good to me. Every time you see you coming, oh, you disappoint me, honey. Oh, but you forgot when you were down. I was around. Oh Lord, I can't eat, I can't sleep anymore. Waiting for love to walk through the door. I wish I didn't miss you anymore. I
welcome to the Rugby Australia Awards live from the Royal Randwick here in Sydney. Welcome to... Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Rugby.com.au's live coverage of the 2017 Rugby Australia Awards live from Royal Randwick here in Sydney, a night that is all things celebrating rugby, and the first time of course for the name change from the John Eales medal to the Rugby Australia Awards. We are live here tonight celebrating all the things that have happened throughout the year. Of course, the Wallabies' success in the spring tour, the win last weekend in the Bledisloe, the Australian Sevens, and of course the Women's World Cup in Ireland featuring the Wallaroos, finishing 5th in a fantastic achievement over there in Ireland. We've just had the players and their partners come through the gold carpet here at Royal Randwick, and they're settling in for a night that's going to have so many achievements for us here at Australian Rugby that we can celebrate with pride before the players, of course, play the Barbarians this weekend in Sydney before they head off on their spring tour with their first stop, of course, in Japan for the first ever test between the Wallabies and the Japanese side. This year we've seen so many things happen, and Israel Folau definitely a contender this year for the John Eales medal. We spoke with him earlier and he was tipping his captain Michael Hooper. We know both of them have had 2 John Eales medals in the past, and of course whoever wins out of those 2, if they are the ones to finish on top of the table, will be the first person to win 3 John Eales medals. Of course, the other awards we have up this evening are the Volunteer of the Year. We have the Australian Women's Sevens and the Australian Men's Sevens, the Wallaroos 15 of the Year, and of course the Australian referee as well will be taking part in this wonderful night here. Will be hosted by Greg Clark and Natasha Belling. They'll be with us shortly, and we'll throw to them just behind me. And of course, Kurtley Beale's another bolter for the John Eales medal after he came back from a successful year over in England with the Wasps, and fantastic to see him running out in the Indigenous jersey. We'll be with you all night tonight. We'll have sort of special presentation from the gold carpet as the players did arrive, looking fantastic as they always do in their dresses and their well scrubbed up suits. And after, of course, we'll have some players and some ex-players and some current players join Adam Fryer here on the stage at Royal Randwick. And it's been a pleasure to bring this to you live on Rugby.com.au, our second year in a row hosting this event for you. We have a fantastic streaming team as well as the journalists backstage that'll be helping you, bring you all the coverage. And we'll have a live blog too that will have all the video highlights and the interviews post the award ceremonies. It's been one of those years in Australian rugby that's been tough at times, of course, with the Super Rugby saga, but we've come through the other side and we're looking very good here. And I turn around and have a look at some of the people that have rocked in. We can see Bill Pulver here tonight. We can see the head of Rupa as well, Ross Zenos, Dean Mumm, the leader of Rupa. The Buildcorp Wallaroos have showed up. We had a quick chat with Emily down there before. She's in high spirits and hoping that someone in the top 5, in the tight 5 rather, can win the award for the Women's 15 Player of the Year. It's been an absolutely remarkable year, of course, for the Sevens too, coming off their gold medal in Rio and trying to defend that World Series event. And they fell just short, finishing 3rd in what was a very tough season where New Zealand had everything to gain. And of course, one of the highlights for us this year was last weekend up in Brisbane, the Wallabies with that nail-biting win over the All Blacks live from Suncorp Stadium with a huge result. We've got the NRC too, which has played a part this year. The first ever Uni Sevens tournament featured 8 universities who played across 4 legs and for the title, with the University of Queensland winning 4 tournaments in a row, 30 games undefeated in a remarkable feat. We spoke with Emily Cherry earlier down on the gold carpet, and we'll bring that package to you not too far away. And we can't be too far away here from the start of the awards. I'll just reiterate, we are live from Royal Randwick throughout the evening celebrating the Rugby Australia Awards. It's been one of those years that, you know, things didn't go exactly according to plan for the Wallabies. They were one short of their Grand Slam over in Europe, falling just short to Eddie Jones's team over there. But they'll get another crack as they head over there in just a moment, where they'll get to play England, Ireland, Scotland and England as well. And it's going to be a remarkable game, there's no doubt about that. The men's Sevens finishing 5th this year for the HSB World Series, but with a cracking start to the 2017-18 season, where they took out the Oktoberfest Sevens in Munich. A fantastic achievement from them. Andy Friend blooding a lot of young talent in the last series, and he'll get the return of Louis Holland and Ed Jenkins and Tom Lucas too, with a bit of injection from a young gun, Maurice Longbottom, who had a cracking start over there in Germany to his Australian career. Of course, club rugby too. We saw so many things that went well in club rugby in Sydney. Warringah taking out the final in amazing scenes at North Sydney Oval. And of course in Queensland there was tight competitions throughout that one as well. And the Warringah of course had that major tragedy throughout the year, and they bonded together, and it was almost written in the stars that they were going to take out the Shute Shield for 2017. And of course the classic Wallabies featured again in 2017. They played over in Fiji with a sevens tournament over there, and also at the Sydney Sevens. And just 2 days ago we saw them take on the Barbarians in Lismore with a fantastic crowd of up to 3,000 joining in on that game at Crozier Field. It was a fantastic day out with the likes of Drew Mitchell, Radiki Samo, Lottie Takiri, Brett Sheehan, Patrick Phibbs, and of course Adam Fryer as well, who will join us here shortly on the program for this evening. But they went down by 3 points in an absolute nail-biter with a mix of youth and experience in that classic Wallabies team, featuring a number of young stars from the Western Force and also local competitions including Nick Juice and James Verity-Am. So they had a fantastic week up there, you know, getting to know a few of the guys that they looked up to throughout the start of their careers. Also we've got, you know, the Wallaroos, as I mentioned earlier, fantastic achievement over there in Ireland. That 5th spot will secure them a passage to the next World Cup in 2021, which is great news for the Australian Wallaroos. And of course, Michael Checker and his men building towards that World Cup in Japan in 2019, not too far away. As I did mention just previously, they go off to Japan actually on Sunday. They'll leave Australia, on Tuesday, but they'll play Japan on Saturday, the 4th of November, in the first ever test between the two countries on Japanese soil. They'll have lots of coverage from that one as well. No doubt it's going to be a huge spectacle for the Japanese public to be able to watch that. It's going to be an absolutely amazing event. And not only to the nights like these, you know, represent the great players that we have in this country, but it's also a chance to acknowledge the volunteers, the referees and the coaches who give so much hard work to the game that we're all so passionate about. And we're not too far away now from Greg Clark and Natasha Belling getting us underway here at the Rugby Australia Awards. We'll be with you all night on Rugby.com.au, live streaming this event from Royal Randwick. We'll also have a live blog for you on our website if you are interested. But it sounds like Greg Clark and Natasha Belling are ready to get us underway here at Royal Randwick. We'll leave you in their capable hands, and we hope you enjoy the evening.
Maybe the missed pass on the outside. Williams around the outside. Australia. Touchdown for the game's first try.
Digging gets it out to Foley. He's going to kick across to Folau in the air. Oh, what a take! What a try! Israel Folau. He has got a double.
It will be advantage Australia. They won't need that advantage because the danger man, he's threatened all evening. And this time the ball does stick to the hands. The seventh player, Australia
Looking at Motor around the outside. Green burns him. Back in field, Australia score. Bring them in. Now Myers, what a take from the restart. Myers goes all the way. She's trying to get away from the cover defence of Caslick. Caslick gets back and rounds up Landry.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 2017 Rugby Australia Awards. Please welcome your MCs for the night, Greg Clark and Natasha Belling.
Thank you very much and good evening. Welcome to the 16th edition of Rugby's Night of Nights, the Rugby Australia Awards featuring the John Eales Medal for the Wallabies Wallaby Player of the Year. And what a night it is going to be as we honour some outstanding players, coaches, administrators, referees, volunteers who have all gone above and beyond over the past 12 months. Helping us along the way tonight, Natasha Belling. Now, I can't call you, Network 10, yes, I can't call you a tragic yet, a rugby tragic, but you live with a few.
Yes, I live with 3 boys. That's my husband and 2 young sons. One is 9 and one is 11, and my boys are absolutely devastated they're not here tonight. They're both massive rugby fans. My 9-year-old got Rugby Player of the Year in our local club, so I'm down there every Saturday morning cheering them on. They're devastated, as I said. All their heroes are here tonight. You guys are awesome and fantastic role models for so many kids across this wonderful country. My 11-year-old is live streaming it now. My 9-year-old is watching the finale of The Bachelorette. So my tip is Stu to win tonight, but I'll bring you those scores as well.
Look forward to that. Tonight we're going to celebrate not only the Bachelorette but the Australian rugby community and those who make a real difference through their dedication, commitment and outstanding performance. 15 awards, including the prestigious John Eales Medal. Last year, Michael Hooper became the 4th Wallaby to win the award for the 2nd time, and we're very excited to see who takes home the honour tonight.
And another thing we are certainly celebrating here tonight is the name change. Since 1949, it's been the Australian Rugby Union. But from tomorrow, when the fantastic new headquarters at Moore Park is officially opened, it becomes Rugby Australia. And now to officially welcome you all on behalf of Rugby Australia, it's our great pleasure to welcome to the stage the President, Mr. Tony Shaw.
Thank you. Okay, Tony, nice to see you again. I think Mendoza was the last time and we haven't changed a bit since then.
Couple of glasses of red wine, Clark. It was very pleasant. Very pleasant. Just do me a favour and hang on to those. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome. Firstly, I'd like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land on which we're meeting, pay my respects to their elders past and present, and welcome all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders people here tonight. A very warm welcome to our special guests, the Honourable Linda Volz, Shadow Minister for Sport, and the Honourable Matt Thistlethwaite, Shadow Assistant Minister for Treasury. It's a pleasure to have you here tonight. I'd also like to thank a number of organisations who have made tonight possible. Firstly, our broadcast partners, Fox Sports and Network 10, and in particular our hosts for the evening, Greg Clark and Natasha Belling. To all of our partners for their incredible support and commitment to the Australian rugby over the last 12 months, and in particular to the Rugby Union Players Association, to RUPA, who are co-presenters of this prestigious awards night year on year. Most importantly, a huge thank you to our fans, our volunteers, our players and coaches and match officials from across the country who are our champions in the rugby community and the lifeblood of our wonderful sport. And as President, I feel very honoured and privileged to be standing in front of you with so many talented and hard-working individuals who work in rugby. But there's no doubt we've had our fair share of challenges over the last 12 months, but we've witnessed some great achievements. So if you could bear with me, I'll just walk through some of those. Last Saturday night, I think we'd have to cap it off to see our Qantas Wallabies play in an Indigenous jersey for the first time ever. What a wonderful occasion, and to come out with a great result as well. Our first win over our Trans-Tasman rivals since August 2015. And congratulations to all that made that happen, in particular the team and the supporters and your support staff. Congratulations. Now, Michael and the team have got a very young team, building nicely ahead of the 2019 Rugby World Cup, and we wish them all the very best for the spring tour. Moving now to the Qantas Australian Women's Sevens team, they finished second in the HSBC Women's Rugby Sevens World Series, while new stars emerged in the Men's Sevens Series, who ended up in sixth position in the World Rugby Sevens Series after a very strong finish. We also celebrated the inaugural Aon Uni Women's Sevens Series with 4 fast-paced tournaments being held across the country, where Australians got to watch the Olympic stars play against the up-and-coming talent in the country. And also our Bilcorp Wallaroos won back-to-back tests at the Women's Rugby World Cup, and their 6th place finish secured them a spot in the next tournament in 2021. And they also beat Ireland in a bit of a rematch, a bit of a spite game, I think, in a rematch that allowed the Wallaroos to extract revenge after losing the opening round. And in closing, that's just a glimpse of what Australian rugby has achieved in 2017. And tonight we celebrate the on-field achievements of our players and teams, as well as pay tribute to our past greats, our leading volunteers, and be reminded again that we're all so very lucky to be part of this great rugby family. Have a great night. Enjoy the evening. I'll now pass back to Clarkie.
Thank you, Tony, and please remain on stage as we announce this year's inductees into the Wallaby Hall of Fame. To be considered for this honour, these men must have made a significant contribution to the game through demonstrating outstanding ability, sportsmanship, commitment, character, and made a personal impact to their team as well during their era. They must also have been retired for at least a decade. I'll now ask Tony to announce the two newest additions to the prestigious Wallaby Hall of Fame, joining 42 of our finest players in this exclusive club.
The first inductee is a former Wallaby, a former coach who I've been very fortunate to be coached by, and I have a huge amount of respect for the man, John David Brockhoff.
Wallaby number 364, David John Brockhoff, played 8 tests for Australia. He was a member of the 1949 Wallabies side that won the Bledisloe Cup on Kiwi soil for the first time. After transitioning into coaching at Sydney University, Brockhoff's incredible success rate saw him installed as Wallabies coach in 1974. In a tough period for Australian rugby, Brockhoff's uncompromising attitude and hard-nosed strategy saw the Wallabies return to the top. He led Australia to the 1979 Bledisloe Cup win, their first in 30 years. For his services to the game, he was elected as a life member of the Australian Rugby Union and given the Outstanding Service to the Game Award.
Round of applause for Brock. And keep the applause going, because accepting the award are members of his family, his daughter Juliet and sons John and Peter. Please welcome them as they make their way to the stage. In 2011, Australian rugby lost one of our most loved and brilliant characters, David Brockhoff. Psyching up his players was Brock's specialty. The pre-match speeches of a tall man with a deep, loud voice and the most vibrant of laughs were legendary. He often had Wallaby teams in a frenzy, notably the lead-up to the famous 1975 Battle of Ballymore Test against England. His intense passion for the game remained right up to his final days, and he was a regular fixture at the airport to farewell and welcome home Waratahs and Wallaby squads. John David Brockhoff will always be the heart and soul of Australian rugby, the Wallabies and also the Waratahs, and his son John would now like to say a few words on behalf of the family.
Thanks, Greg. Appreciate it. Our family is proud to accept this honour on Dad's behalf, and especially with Mum Claire's memory. In life, Dave Brockhoff really respected the contest, and it found its strongest expression in rugby, whether it was helping out the Coonabarabra and Kookaburras, or coaching uni, or playing with his mates like many of you know, John Solomon. Dad was a servant and a student of the game, and he learnt from a lot of sources. He really respected and learnt from Vic Kavanagh and the South Island rucking game. He really respected Dunny Craven and the Springboks power and the technical brilliance of the Welsh through the 70s. But Dave Brockhoff really added his own step forward approach, and his teams were really keen to follow. We're all really proud to have seen him and his teams lift the Bledisloe Cup as a player and as a coach. But I think many of us really most remember Dad's care for the rugby community, particularly what he showed returning teams, the families, the girlfriends, waiting at the airport after what might have not have been the best of games. He was always there for them like he was for our family, and that's the great memory we have of our dad. So thank you, Dad, and I know him and Mum would have cherished this honour, and we really appreciate the AAU's work on this.
Thank you, John. Well said. We have one more inductee for 2017. Over to you, Tony.
The next inductee is a former Wallaby back rower and teammate, Greg Kennelson.
The Armidale schoolboy, nicknamed the Bearded Bushranger, Greg Cornelson played 25 tests for Australia, with 2 moments becoming synonymous with his colourful folklore. The first involving the infamous up the jumper try during a City versus Country game, where he audaciously tucked the ball up his jumper, scrambled past the City team and passed it off to a teammate for the try. And at Eden Park in 1978, he became the first forward from any country to score 4 tries in a Test match. To this day, he remains the only Wallabies forward to accomplish the feat. He continued to play a big role within rugby after retiring and has been involved in countless charities. He was awarded an Order of Australia Medal in 2016.
Greg Cornelson, ladies and gentlemen. Greg is modestly personified. Modesty personified, 25 tests before his retirement in 1982. The first Wallaby to score 4 tries in a test. He's still the only player to score 4 tries in a test against New Zealand. Please welcome the great Greg Cornelson. Well done.
Thank you.
Congratulations on an award that is richly deserved. Induction into the Wallaby Hall of Fame. First of all, what does it mean to you and your family?
Oh, I think they're proud. It's just the greatest possible rugby honour, I guess, to be chosen and selected by your peers and others from our great rugby community. And as I said to Bill when he rang me a week or so ago, I'm just absolutely blown away. So, it's just absolutely fantastic, Clarkie.
Some Wallaby forwards don't get to score many tries in their careers, but you decided to score all of yours in the one Test match. 4 against the All Blacks, but Greg, it must be a record that you're so proud of.
I'd have to say that I am proud of it, and thanks very much for not showing them tonight, because if you do see them, you'd say, what's all that about? How could you be... Anyway, no, I am, but just on that, I think we go back to, to what happened, and Tony Shaw was the skipper that day of a fantastic Wallaby side, and we put 30 points on the All Blacks, which was a lot of points that day, in that era, rather. And it was just fantastic to be part of a great team, and well led by the skipper and now the President of Australian Rugby, Tony Shaw. Well done, Shawry.
And also an absolute honour to have your name alongside another 43 now. Incredible.
Say again, mate. Sorry.
43 now in the Wallaby Hall of Fame.
Yeah,
another 43.
No. Yeah, no, it's just absolutely fantastic. And to be, inducted the same night as David Brockoff, who was a great mate of mine, is just absolutely sensational.
Yeah, Brock was not only a friend of yours, but a coach, a former Wallaby himself. So can you sum up how you feel about David Brockoff's contribution to the Wallabies and to Australian rugby?
Well, it's an absolutely outstanding contribution, and he arrived just at the nick of time, I reckon. He's just a sensational person, as has been said before. He's absolutely passionate. He had unbelievable energy and enthusiasm to burn. I mean, he's just a wonderful man. And everyone has a David Brockoff story. Now, I don't think there's anyone else in Australian rugby that you could say that about. He was just an unbelievable personality. Basically, his philosophy with rugby was that he wanted an aggressive forward pack, a go-forward pack. He certainly, no way in the world would you take a backward step. And as far as David was concerned, it was absolute boots and all. He was a stickler for disciplined defence, and he believed that if you had a good defence, your attack would look after itself. And for those of you who played Saturday night, fellas, in that Test match, David would have been so proud of you, because your disciplined defence was absolutely outstanding, and aggression right until the last minute. And it's the reason for that you guys obviously won the game. He'd be so proud. And you don't beat the best side in the world unless you've got that unbelievable defence.
Well said.
And David, has been mentioned, was the coach of that side that beat the All Blacks in 1979. It was 30 years, of course. But it was a golden era from Australia, and David played a major role in that, because he coached a few years earlier and put real steel into the Australian side. And, we won, including that test, 4 tests out of 5 against the All Blacks. So David played a major role in all of that.
Well said. Greg Cornelson and David Brockoff, Wallaby Hall of Famers, 2017.
Thank you, Craig.
Thank you, Greg Cornelson. Thank you to Juliet, John and Peter Brockoff as well. Thanks to Tony Shaw. And Tony, of course, is also a member of that prestigious Wallaby Hall of Fame. Round of applause once again. Thank you. Well, now to the next award, and it's the 2017 HSBC Volunteer of the Year. Without volunteers, the game would simply not go on, particularly at grassroots level. Now, this award was created to recognise the incredibly valuable role that volunteers play in rugby clubs across Australia. It acknowledges the efforts of outstanding individuals in the rugby community who have given their time, energy and effort to ensure everyone has the chance to enjoy our great game. Each state and territory union collects the nominations through a public process and then selects one person to be put forward from each state or territory. The nominees are judged on their contribution to Australian rugby using the code's core values: passion, integrity, discipline, respect, teamwork. To present the award, would you please welcome to the stage HSBC Head of Sponsorship and Events, Tess Cowley, and a special mention to HSBC for their support of this award. Yes, well done, and thank you to HSBC. Now, Tessa, this year's winner is chosen by a panel appointed by Rugby Australia. Once again this year, I was lucky enough to be on that panel. It was a very difficult task, I must say. We had a record number of nominations this year, so over to you.
Thanks, Greg. HSBC is proud to donate a $10,000 grant to the Winners Club, and it will go towards the continued growth and development of their club and to reward members with new facilities and equipment. Each year we see so many generous and selfless volunteers, and I'm proud to personally have seen what HSBC's grants do for those clubs. So now we shall announce the 2017 HSBC Volunteer of the Year as Peter Kurtz from Billawilla Rugby Club in Queensland. Where is he?
Come on up, Peter. Peter Kurtz is Billawilla Senior Coach, Billawilla Juniors Coach, Bus Driver for the Seniors and Juniors, Brahman's Rep Team Manager, Billawilla Groundsman, QRU Advisory Committee, Capricornia Rugby On-Ground Competition Manager, Board Member of Capricornia Rugby and Billawilla Registrar. I reckon he might mow a few lawns and he might also wash a few jerseys as well. So he plays both the coaching and administrative role for his club. Recently been a driving force behind the newly formed Capricornia Rugby. Please make him welcome. And congratulations, Peter. Mate, I know you don't seek recognition for your voluntary work, but what does it mean to you and your club to have this award?
Look, for the club itself, it's probably a huge recognition, being a small country town and going through what we've been through since 2013 with the floods. So thank you to HSBC, and I'm sure that money will get spent well.
I've got to ask you also, where do you find the hours to do what you do?
It's probably a good question for my wife because I'm never home. Yeah, look, it's one of those things. It's a family environment. I'm lucky enough to have a supportive wife and two great kids that wish they could be here tonight as well. Yeah, look, they support me and we support each other in everything that we do. So they're getting home at 4 o'clock in the morning from the bus trips and rocking up back down the field at 8 o'clock in the morning makes it a lot easier with that support. So thank you.
No, thank you. What a wonderful volunteer you have been. The HSB Volunteer of the Year, Peter Kurtz from Billawilla in Queensland. And a special thanks also to Tess Cowley and her wonderful team at HSBC. Enjoy your night. Good to see the suit out of the box as well.
Thank you, Greg. Well, next up tonight is the Roger Vanderfield Award for the TNT Referee of the Year. And to present the award tonight, please welcome to the stage the Director of Special Services from TNT, Andrew Lysart. Thank you, Andrew. To be considered for this award, you must have consistently demonstrated a high standard of officiating in 15s or 7s. The winner is decided by a panel consisting of our National Referees Manager, National Referees Coach and High Performance General Manager. It's been a very, very big year on the referee front, and next month we'll have 2 Aussie refs controlling Tier 1 games in the Northern Hemisphere, and for the first time since 2008. And this year's award has been narrowed down to 2 outstanding nominees. And who are they, Andrew?
The first nominee is Nick Berry.
Well done, Nick. Now, Nick is a former Red scrum half and the first Australian to play and officiate both of them in Super Rugby. 33 caps for the Reds, and he's risen through the Australian rugby referee ranks at a rapid rate. At this year's World Under-20 Championships in Georgia, he controlled the final between New Zealand and England. And this weekend, he'll control Japan versus a World 15. And next month, he is in charge of the test match between Scotland and Samoa. A big round of applause for a fantastic effort from Nick Berry. Second nominee.
The second nominee is Angus Gardner.
Well done, Angus, and through many years of hard work and dedication, Angus Gardner is now a regular feature in Super Rugby and the Test Arena. In 2017, Angus increased his reputation with 3 Tier 1 Test matches, and there's one more to come next month. Great work, Angus. A big round of applause for Angus. Andrew, it's over to you.
It's now my honour to announce the winner of the Roger Vanderfield Award for the TNT Referee of the Year is Angus Gardner.
Angus Gardner continued his reputation as Australia's top referee with another standout season. Gardner is establishing himself as one of the world's best, officiating a Six Nations clash between England and France and Lions series matches against the New Zealand Provincial Barbarians and Highlanders. Next month's New Zealand-France test match will be Gardner's 8th Tier 1 test in a row.
Well, as I mentioned earlier, Angus has had a massive 12 months of refereeing. He's now controlled 15 tests with 7 Tier 1 matches in a row and 49 Super Rugby games. Unfortunately, Angus can't be with us here tonight as he's assisting Nick Berry in Japan versus World 15 match this weekend. But he did send us a special video message.
Thanks very much for the award. Honoured to receive it, and I'm sorry I wasn't there in person tonight. Currently en route to Japan. I just want to take this opportunity to thank a few people who help me and support me behind the scenes, week in, week out, helping me to do what I do. Namely Scott Young, my referee manager, and referee coaches Johnny McCarthy and Andrew Cole. These guys put in a huge amount of work to assist and help me, so I'm very grateful. Just in keeping it brief, obviously November presents some exciting opportunities for both us as referees and for the teams that are going up, and I really just wanted to take this opportunity to wish Michael and his team all the best on their upcoming tour, and hopefully continue on from their great performance from last Saturday night. Hope everyone has a great night. Thanks.
Congratulations, Angus. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, a big congratulations to Angus, and thank you so much, Andrew, from TNT. It's now my great pleasure to cross over and check in with Fox Sports presenter Natalie Ioannidis and Wallaroos player Emily Robinson.
Yep.
Hi, ladies.
Hi, Natasha. Thank you so much. Emily, or as to your teammates, you're known as Grommy, from what I'm told. You guys obviously had that World Cup over in Ireland this year. We're all immensely proud of what you guys achieved, even though you didn't make that Final Four. How proud are you of what you did do?
Yeah, it was an awesome year to be part of the Wallaroos this year, and yeah, we really wanted top four, but unfortunately just fell short. But we kind of got redemption against Ireland in one of the final games. So yeah, it was a really good year for women's rugby, and we're really proud of what we achieved.
Ireland, the home nation, what did it mean to get one over them? Obviously they beat you in that first round robin match of the tournament.
Yeah, it was pretty special being in the changing rooms afterwards, singing the anthem, and Bill was there and Josephine. So yeah, it was a pretty amazing feeling being able to beat them in front of their home crowd, playing at such a great stadium, and get one back, I guess. So yeah, it was awesome.
given how, obviously, like I said, you didn't make the Final Four, but it was a really good tournament for you girls. How much confidence does that give you going forward for future events?
Yeah, I think it was really good. I think it was good for the whole of Australian rugby to see how well we can go when we're playing continuously. So the girls obviously went to New Zealand before the World Cup for a couple of tests, and just building into the World Cup, it really strengthened our team, and by the end of it, we come real good, so it was awesome.
And I mentioned your nickname is Grommy. Where'd you get that from?
Oh, when I was, I started playing rugby when I was 8 at Narrabeen Tigers, and then you have to stop when you're 12. We used to have to stop when you were 12, and then my dad kind of got annoyed at me because I was just wanted to play footy, so he took me down to the Warringah Open team when I was 14, and I guess I was the Grommy of the pack, so yeah, it kind of stuck.
Moral of the story is that girls can play at footy too. Thank you so much, Emily Robinson.
No worries.
And thank you very much, Natalie Ioannidis. The Nick Farr-Jones Spirit of Rugby Award is named after Australia's first Rugby World Cup winning captain. And unfortunately, Nick can't be here this evening because of his business commitment. So presenting the award on his behalf is Olympic Sevens gold medalist and co-captain. Please welcome Shannon Parry. Now, you've had, yes, I can hold it for you. They'll be a bit heavy. You've had an incredibly busy year. HSBC Sevens World Series, World Cup with the Wallaroos, and then travelling around the country for the Aon Uni Sevens. Women's rugby, it's going gangbusters at the moment.
Yeah, it is. It's definitely been a very busy year for both the Sevens and 15s women's program, which is great to see for the development of the game. And 2018 we'll start off with Sydney Sevens, which is going to be fantastic.
Central Coast this weekend, another good opportunity to get some game time in before, the first of the big World Series events in Dubai, first weekend of December.
Yeah, it's always nice to play on the domestic scene here, and for us, well, particularly me, it's my first tournament back from injury at the World Cup. So any chance we get to play leading into that World Series is vital game time. So no doubt the girls will be looking to put in a solid performance, and we've also got 2 men's teams there this weekend as well.
So if you're looking for something to do over the weekend, Central Coast Sevens, a place to be. Well, now in its 6th year, the Nick Farr-Jones Spirit of Rugby Award was first introduced to recognise an active participant or participants who best uphold the ethos and spirit of rugby on or off the field. The award acknowledges the outstanding contribution of an individual or individuals at any level of rugby, whether playing, officiating, administering, volunteering or supporting. Nominees must have demonstrated passion, integrity, discipline, respect and teamwork over the last 12 months. Shannon, over to you.
Thanks, Clarkie. Traditionally, this award has gone to an individual, but tonight I have the incredible honour to announce that there will be 2 awards presented in this category for the very first time. The Nick Farr-Jones Spirit of Rugby Award for 2017 goes to Warringah Rugby Club and the Ward family.
The Warringah Rats produced one of the most memorable stories in recent years in 2017. The team willed themselves to the grand final against last year's premiers Norths after the tragic passing of Rats player Lachlan Ward. In front of a packed North Sydney Oval, they produced the most incredible of wins. In an image that will go down in rugby folklore, a framed photograph of Lachlan was brought onto the field as his brother Sam lifted the Shute Shield trophy.
The Ward family and the tight-knit Warringah Rugby Club endured the heartbreak and hardship of losing one of their own in 2017, and Lachlan Ward tragically passed away playing a 5th grade game in June. Lachlan is remembered as a larger-than-life character, a loving son and brother, and a cherished member of the Warringah Rats Rugby Club family. Spurred on by the memory of Lockie, the Rats prevailed in that emotional grand final against Norths to claim the Shute Shield, the club's first major trophy in over a decade. It's a story of triumph. Once again, we have seen a real-life example of the healing power of rugby, the spirit of the community and the love and mateship that bonds our rugby clubs all over the country. This is the real spirit of rugby, a game that is built on family, mateship, teamwork and community. The Warringah Club rallied behind the Ward family, and tonight the award pays tribute to Lockie, his entire family and their beloved Warringah Rats. And on stage to accept the award is Murray Ward and Phil Parsons, the president from Warringah. Please make them welcome again. Phil, first of all. Phil. Phil, first of all, as president of the club, you must be so proud of the way the club and the community came together and supported each other under those tragic circumstances.
Incredibly proud, but there is also, I need to thank the AAU. They've been incredibly supportive to us this year and done an extraordinary job providing the support we couldn't in areas that we couldn't, and they've been fantastic. And in saying that too, our community stood up and we got our arms around the Ward family pretty quickly, but it's been 3 or 4 years in the making. Rugby's all about community, and that's what we talk about, and it was able to fall back on that during time of need and go on to win 3 premierships, I should say, women's rugby, 3rd grade, and the Shoot Shield. So, no. And again, I do want to thank the AU again. They did a great job supporting us.
Murray, we all saw your sadness, we felt your pain, we also witnessed your family's strength as you allowed the club and the community to help you try to come to terms with your grief. To you and Jill and Anna and Beth and Sam, just how important was the rugby family to your family?
Greg, the Warringah Rats have just been the backbone of to be able to get through this. It's been quite inspiring. It's Luke Holmes over here sitting at the table with us. He's been heavily involved, and just, yeah, I can't thank him enough. It's just completely humbling as to what's been happening, and yeah, it's wonderful. Thank you.
Well said, Murray. I might just go off script a little bit here. Sam, can you just pop up here for a moment too, please? Sam lifted the Shoot Shield. He was there in Lismore on Tuesday night, playing for the Barbarians. He's been in camp with the Barbarians, and I just wanted to acknowledge your wonderful contribution as well to your family and helping Mum and Dad and your sisters out. And mate, I hope you enjoyed Tuesday night. Looked like you got through it. Drew Mitchell looked after you okay, did he?
Yeah, no, it was an awesome experience. It was special to be a part of that, and I have to thank everyone who voted for me to be a part of that. It was something I remember forever.
Okay, well, we felt all your hardship throughout the year, but nice to know that at least at the end of it, you've got the award, you've got the acknowledgement, and our thoughts and prayers will be with you going forward. All the best for 2018.
Thank you so much.
Murray Ward, thank you. Sam Ward and Phil Parsons. We wish the family, the Warringah Rats, all the best. The wonderful son and brother, Lockie Ward. Thanks, Natasha.
A great time, I think, also to remember the importance of the community in our society today. We've seen it firsthand. Our local rugby club is a great community, and we see firsthand how clubs make such a big difference to so many people around this fantastic country. It's now my great pleasure to invite the chairman of the Rugby Union Players Association, Bruce Hodkinson, up to the stage to present the Joe French Award. First presented in 1995, it acknowledges individuals who have made an outstanding contribution to Australian rugby over a long period of time. This award is, of course, named after Joe French, whose contribution to rugby spanned more than 60 years as a player, a state representative, a coach, a manager, selector, and administrator. Bruce, thank you.
Thanks, Natasha. This award, I know, was very highly contested. Every one of the nominees could have won it, but tonight's winner of the Joe French Award is Kevin Crowe.
Queensland cap number 613, Kevin Crowe played 7 matches for his state, but is best remembered for refereeing 625, including 22 tests. His no-nonsense approach saw him recognised as the best referee in the game. Since retiring, he's established and overseen grassroots competitions and initiatives across the Darling Downs and Queensland. In recognition of his services, Kevin was awarded Queensland Rugby Referees Association Life Membership in 1976, QRU Life Membership in 1997, and an Order of Australia in 2004.
An outstanding recipient. Congratulations. Well done.
Thank you very
much. Mr. Crowe, your CV and your list of awards is outstanding. How does this feel to receive this new award?
Well, if it hadn't been for Joe French, I probably wouldn't be here today. Joe French was my my mentor. He was my first coach in representative football and a great man. So I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Joe French.
And we're talking about the morals of rugby, the ethics about it. It's about family, it's about passion, it's about community. Is that something that you fell in love with the game of rugby?
I fell in love with the dressing room because a lot of things happen in there. a lot of people come in, but no.
I'm not going to ask you another question there.
I suppose that when you think back over the years, it's a great game, and if you can come through it from... I was very disappointed in my early days because I went to Christian Brothers School, St James's Christian Brothers College, and you had to get 85% in a scholarship if you got a scholarship to Gregory Terrace. I got 80% and my father said, "You're going to be a Bowser boy next week." But, you know, it's so great. You come through it. Those early years, when I was in the Navy, I played rugby, and it was my first introduction to rugby because the Navy only played Australian rules, rugby and cricket. So we were indulged in rugby all the way through my time at Crib Point. And when the British fleet come out here towards the end of the war, you got every port you went to, you could have a game of rugby because the British were there. So that was great. And then you come into club rugby, and it sort of gives you a foundation for what you want to do in rugby from then on. So it was quite obvious that I loved the game so much. I just wanted to carry on, so I refereed, and then after that, I was a coaching director for the Queensland Rugby Union. So most of my life has been devoted to rugby, and I loved it.
Well, we love you. Congratulations again, Mr. Crowe. Well done. And thank you also to Bruce. Now moving on to our next award, and it's the Jeff Shaw Community Coach of the Year Award, which recognises the efforts of the thousands of fantastic coaches across our wonderful nation who generously give their time to develop rugby talent in their communities. Clubs and players across our country were invited to nominate their community coach and share how he or she has demonstrated the core values of rugby, as we mentioned earlier, those fantastic values of passion, integrity, discipline, respect and teamwork. The award is named after former Wallabies captain and Hall of Famer Jeff Shaw. Please welcome him now to the stage. A short list of nominees is compiled by representatives from Rugby Australia, which are all based on those core values as well as uniqueness and originality. Now, Jeff, you have played, these stats are correct, I hope, 68 matches for Australia, including 27 tests. Now, you were captain for 9 of those before embarking on a career as a coach. What did you learn from making the switch?
I suppose that the coach is always right. I can always remember Ross Turnbull and a few other guys years ago saying, "Don't make a mistake, don't cross them. They pick you and they rule your life."
Now, we're talking before about community and the importance of coaches. They do donate their time, and how important is it that we keep supporting those coaches, because they do develop, and often in a lot of circumstances they're great role models for those young kids coming through.
Yeah, I've been around for a few years in the game, but we started a national coaching plan in the mid-1970s, and that developed coaches across Australia, and I'm really, really pleased that we've gone back to organising that sort of national coaching plan with CAFE and people like that are back into the system, because in the 70s and 80s that put us ahead of the rest of the world, and I think gradually over the next few years we'll see the fruits of those, the work that those guys are going to do.
Jeff, it's my great pleasure to hand over to you now to do the honours and announce this year's winner.
I can't believe this. this young lady, Alana Thomas, is the coach of the community rugby coach. Where is Alana?
Hailing from Glen Innes, Alana Thomas enjoyed a successful career with the Wallaroos, playing for the national side from 2006 through to 2010. After hanging up the boots, she stayed within the sporting world, taking up a business services coordinator's role with the Victorian Institute of Sport. It wasn't long before she made the transition into coaching. Spending time in the ARU's Developing Coaches program, Alana has seen tremendous success so far in coaching, with her passion and love for the game passed on to her players, evident as she led the Melbourne Unicorns to a premiership this year.
Oh, well done, Alana. This is outstanding. Now, I've just heard Jeff has just said to me, you taught Alana everything she knows. Is that right? Tell us about your special relationship. That's a lovely story.
Women's rugby sort of declined a little bit in the early 2000s, and one of my roles as general manager of community rugby was to try and rejuvenate it. And we went to we missed the World Cup with the women, and we took the World Cup team to Canada in 2006, and I was fortunate enough to go with them. And we've kept that process in place ever since. They deserve every opportunity they get, and she was part of the team, believe it or not, and I was sort of helping coach the backs.
Well done. Thank you. Alana, congratulations again. There's a lot of hard work that goes into coaching, and it can be very challenging, and there's a lot of stress, and there's lots of pleasure, lots of joy as well. What inspires you to keep coming back and giving 150%?
I think it's more the fact that I was fortunate enough to represent my country, and I got some really great experiences out of that. And when it came to the end of my career, I wanted to stay involved and give back to the game that it gave me so much. And as I got older and was an older player, or as my players say, an experienced player, I found myself doing a lot of that with the younger girls within the team, and so coaching was sort of a natural progression, but it was a little bit harder than what I thought, just turning up and doing some sessions and coaching the girls. So, you know, I've progressed and I've really enjoyed the time coaching.
You just mentioned there what you got out of rugby. What have you got out of rugby and you continue to get out of rugby that you love?
Oh, it's just the friendships and just the camaraderie that we have. You know, there's girls in this room that I've played with and coached and you know, been up at Wallaroos camps and things like that. And it's just great to see them coming along and progressing and developing, and that's what it's about, coaching. It's not about winning awards, it's about developing the next generation. So there's Australian Sevens players, there's Wallaroos, there's Wallabies coming through the ranks, and making sure that, you know, they've got the skills and the coaches there developing them along that pathway.
You're changing a lot of lives. Congratulations again, Alana. Well deserved. Jeff, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Greg, over to you.
Ladies and gentlemen, before we check in with the big award of the night, the John Eales Medal, we'd now like to pay our respects to fallen Wallabies, in particular those who we have lost recently. If you could turn your attention to the screen, we have a special video dedicated to the 6 Wallabies who contributed so much to the game and will never be forgotten. Yes, our thoughts are with the family and friends of the 6 Wallabies who we've lost this year. Well, now it's time to check out the voting for the John Eales Medal, the Wallabies Wallaby Player of the Year Award. And a reminder that after each test, the 23 vote on a 3-2-1 basis for the teammates who impressed them the most. And in the voting period, the Qantas Wallabies played 15 tests, starting with the spring tour last year. Tavita Kurandrani was the leading try scorer on that Grand Slam tour with 4 tries. Bernard Foley scored 60 points and David Pocock was the top tackler. So let's reflect on the 5 tests against Wales, Scotland, France, Ireland and England.
Australia began its spring tour against Wales, dominating early possession. The Wallabies led by 17 points at half-time. Bernard Foley produced a masterclass as the Aussies cruised to victory.
And nobody deserves a try more than Bernard Foley.
Scotland came out firing, looking to avenge their World Cup loss to Australia. The Wallabies withstood the barrage and Tavita Kurandrani stole the match for Australia with 4 minutes to play.
To Kurandrani, and Kurandrani is through, and Kurandrani for the line, the tackle, the stretch, the try.
Next up was a France side which hadn't lost to Australia at home since 2010. It looked like that would continue early, the French dominating early possession. The Wallabies gained some ascendancy thanks to some Kurandrani magic. As full time ticked over, Lopez's shot fell wide as Australia kept alive their undefeated tour. The Wallabies were looking to continue their winning streak, but things didn't go to plan early. Ireland getting off to a fast start, the Wallabies fought their way back in the second half.
And into the game to score the try is the substitute.
And in a tense final 10 minutes, Ireland held on to end the Wallabies' Grand Slam dreams. Australia faced off against a red-hot England team at Twickenham in the final test of the spring tour. The Wallabies surprised the home side to take a 10-0 lead early. England stormed out of the gates in the second half, and despite the best efforts of Sekope Kepu, the English ultimately held on.
So, after the spring tour and 5 tests in the voting period, it is, as we check the leaderboard, David Pocock leading the voting on 105, 26 ahead of Dane Haylett-Petty. Bernard Foley, 3rd. Tavita Kurandrani, 4th. Israel Folau, 5th. And rounding out the top 10, 2016 John Eales medalist Michael Hooper, Sefernai Valu, Sekope Kepu, Stephen Moore and Rory Arnold. So 5 down, 10 tests to go. Who will win the 2017 John Eales medal? Time for a break. Coming up next, Under-20s Player of the Year, Try of the Year, Super Rugby Player of the Year, Australia's Choice, the Qantas Wallaby of the Year, as voted by you, the fans, and we'll reveal more in the voting for the John Eales medal. So enjoy your main course. Thank you very much.
Well, thanks very much, Clarkey, and a good segue into the man of the moment, Sean McMahon. Instagram is going mad. You and your wife hit the gold carpet. Good spec of you, mate, but also some good news as well. You're expecting a child.
Yeah, expecting. Actually found out the other day I'm going to be having a little boy, so I nailed the first shot, which is great, and looking forward to when that happens in April.
A boy? Have you thought of names yet?
Oh, don't think I'm allowed to say him. I'll get a bit of strife from the midi if I do that, and I'll be in trouble.
And what a year it's been, and don't take this the wrong way, but about 18 months ago, not sure where you were at in the team, form wasn't great, but when you play the All Blacks, you are something else. You've stepped up, your body's in good shape. Are you enjoying the form you're in? Because I'm enjoying watching it.
Yeah, it was a tough start to the year, and, back end of last year was a bit tough for me. But, I've been loving the form that I've been in lately, and, playing the All Blacks and getting that win on the weekend was something special that I'll always cherish and remember that game, and especially being in the Indigenous jersey as well was something great to be part of.
Now, this time last year, you're on stage with your good mate, Nick Frisby. What's doing there? He's playing NRC, big game for him this weekend, but do you miss your little mate?
I miss him so much.
Do you want to say something back? I'm sure he's watching the stream.
Friz, miss you, brother. It's tough times without you. No one to be in the rooms with. Tough times.
Very funny. Now, mate, let's quickly go to the spring tour. Your form's going to hold up well. check? Is he going to look to blood some players? Is he going to look to the future? And I suppose you're a big part of that future, but seeing some of these young guys coming through, who do you put your mark on to be the next Sean McMahon?
I'd know be the next Sean McMahon. There's only one Sean McMahon. But, you know, there's so many young blokes coming through at the moment. You know, we just got to keep building that up so that they can just slot straight into the position. And, you know, hopefully over this spring too, you know, you might see some new blood out there and having a real good crack. And hopefully we can come away with a few nice wins to keep that flow going on from the past couple of weeks.
Barbarians this weekend, like playing against the Barbarians. It's not about me, but the classic Wallabies just a few days ago. But they weren't a bad side.
You were crook out there, mate.
No, I did my best, but I'm a lot older than you. But they're going under the radar. No one's talking about them, but they'll have a point to prove, especially guys like Quaid. And I know Alan Jones has been quite vocal to say he wants to pick Western Force players that have got a point to prove. How do you see this game going this weekend? Is it one that Czech would be nervous about?
Oh, you know, it'll be a great game to watch. You know, the Barbars will do what the Barbars do. And, you know, have Quaid there at 10. You know, you'll probably be seeing some pretty flash plays out there. And, you know, as you said, you know, a few of the boys like Quaid will have something to prove, and he'll be out there trying to win himself a spot back in the squad for the spring.
Now, I'm just going to ask you a couple more questions about tonight. Community awards, and I'll tell you what I love about you and your family. I know you've got a new family coming, but your old man's and everything sort of represents what sort of club footy's about. Do you see some of those community awards, and does it take you back a little bit and make you appreciate your parents and that come and watch you and the people that support you?
Yeah, 100%. You know, it's great to see that. You know, they're the backbone of the industry. You know, without them, we wouldn't be where we are today. You know, I remember a lot of my coaches that brought me up when I was young, and I'm still thankful. And you got to think, you know, mum and dad who was getting up in the early mornings, taking me to school at 4 or 5 in the morning when you have to be at gym. You know, you can't thank them enough, and you try every day, and that's why you go out there on the field and you try to play your best footy for them.
And your old man does pretty well. He travels the globe. He's always there at the bar having a beer.
Yeah.
He would have been pretty chuffed after your performance in Brisbane. I thought you were Rob not getting man of the match just quietly, but was he there for you afterwards?
Yeah, you know, my old man loves a beer. I always love having a beer with him, but he's always over. He was in South Africa watching us play there because he obviously works over there. And, you know, after the game, when I rang him, he was so chuffed and he was basically speechless. And, you know, he just loves watching the boys play the footy and absolutely adores the lads. And, you know, to come away with a win against New Zealand was something special and he loved and enjoyed.
Now, tonight, you've got a lot of medals, the John Eales medal, but one medal which you'd be watching as well as the Sean Mackay Awards because of your involvement with the Sevens.
Yeah.
I was looking through some photos the other day. 17-year-old you were, playing your first game for Aussie Sevens.
Yeah, just a young buck.
Same haircut, just no ink. It was like, he hasn't changed. He put on a bit of weight, but the Sevens game, you're probably the proudest, and no disrespect to the current group, but one of the players that's just really come through that program and gone on to huge things. And there's a new crop of Sevens players coming through, and Louis Holland, like these guys can play as well. And I know they're now very professional Sevens players, but that program's, you know, it's in pretty strong hands under Friendy.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, the Sevens program, you know, as you said, I came up through that, and it was a great environment to be in, and, you know, to see some of those boys coming in. You mentioned Louis Holland, he's a great player. It'll be good to see him back out in the field after a little bit off with injury, and, you know, still got players, a lot of experience there with Ed Jenkins and Jesse Parrott teaching a lot of the young boys how it's done, and you can see what's coming up. It'll be exciting to see their first tournament when they come back into it.
Sean McMahon, the father. I'm trying to work it out, Shawnee. I've known you since you're a pup, but mate, well done to you. I don't think you're going to win tonight, I'll be honest with you.
I don't think so either, but it'll be great to see who does.
But I'll tell you what, you'll poll some votes in the later stages because what you do against the All Blacks is truly special, my man, and I'm looking forward to seeing you go over on that spring tour and hurt some people.
Yeah, thank you very much.
All right, beautiful. Sean McMahon there as we continue the show. And Shawnee, you can get off stage now.
Yeah, thank you.
I
was waiting for my cue there, mate.
I love your work. And now back this year, as she was last year, we now have Shani Williams, who's one of my favourite rugby stars, an Olympian, a Wallaroo, World Cup. Shan, how are you, mate? You well?
Yeah, I'm good. How are you?
I'm all right. Now, just talking to Sean McMahon then, the Sean Mackay Award, which is something you're all passionate about for the men and women, so there's 2 different awards. Who do you give it to out of the girls? Because there's so many up-and-coming stars and also, you know, some of the vets. don't take any offence to that. But who's it going to go to tonight?
I think Chloe Dalton's got a very good chance. She's had an unreal season. Her kicking has just been out of sight. That's pretty much what's won us those games. We've started to see the trend of sevens really pick up, and the biggest trend that we saw was obviously from the restarts. And if you can get a kicker that can kick it on the money, then we're a great chance at getting that ball back and retaining that ball.
She's also pretty handy at kicking the ball through the posts, which I think is underrated in sevens. Like I actually think that the sevens and they score the try and there's no passion in getting the conversion, but she's a superstar. And the best thing about her, I think she's a great example of the crop coming through that could play any sport, And speaking of dual sports, this year, World Cup, Wallaroos, how was that experience?
Yeah, it was a really good experience. It was tough, obviously, to go back to the 15 side of the game.
Why was it tough?
Well, the 15 side of the game, I got a little bit frustrated with not getting the ball. So with sevens, you can obviously get the ball in hand quite a lot. So, yeah, transitioning to 15s was a challenge, but I knew that it was going to be a challenge and I was up for that. And I want to give back to the game as well. It's the game that got me to sevens. It started way back in 2008 and I really wanted to go back and show the girls what professional athletes are turning into and, show them a pathway that they can do.
Hang on, so you played your first test for the Wallaroos in 2008. Does that make you a 10-year veteran?
Almost. Almost.
And was there any players... Shannon played a little bit later than that, though. You were the most experienced, not the oldest, the most experienced Wallaroo?
Yeah, I would have been. Obviously not playing every single year, but it was between myself and Ash Houston over there. So, yeah, pushing on the age bracket over there, but and experience, and then obviously with the sevens as well with that experience. So I hope the girls really got some benefits out of having Shano and I over there and Mahalia. And I know that there was some really good feedback, so yeah.
Great. Mahalia, superstar. Like, she was probably the big improver for the Wallaroos this year. And for you guys to go down so close to Ireland and then come back and beat them, do you feel as though there's a sense of achievement? I know you would have loved to have made the finals, but for what the Wallaroos program is, and I know it's going to grow, and it's probably the most effort they've put into it this year, there's so much hope for women's 15 aside, and this might be a hard question to ask, but because there's so much tension on the sevens, you almost sometimes feel for the 15 side of the game, but there's just so much potential there.
Yeah, I mean, 15s is for all shapes and sizes, so, it's those bigger girls that don't get the opportunity to play sevens because they're just not built for sevens. So, I feel for them, for those girls. But yeah, having Mahalia, we needed some speed, we needed some pace, and she's got that aggression as well, that the Aussie mongrel that I kept talking about, that we need to inject there, and that really came out after she'd played 1 or 2 games. So against Ireland, we had that 10-day prep to really prep for them, and only losing by 2 points was pretty tough. So as I said, having a Chloe Dalton out there kicking probably would have really helped us. But yeah, then to beat them in that second game, the European country has quite a lot of 15s going on. They've got that Six Nations. So to come off the back of that and beat them was, phenomenal. And especially that it was on their home soil as well. So the crowd was against us, but we really shut them up with a couple of good tries.
Let's talk about home soil. I'm going to ask 2 questions about home soil, right? A Women's World Cup on home soil would be pretty cool.
Oh, it would be unreal. It'd be amazing. It would just grow the game of 15s as well. Getting those younger girls in that are a little bit bigger to go, hey, guess what? This is a great game. It's a community sport. Get around it. You might not be able to play sevens, but why not have a go at 15s?
And if you can't, well, you've got the Commonwealth Games on home soil this year.
Yeah.
That's going to be pretty cool, and it sort of gets forgotten about, but everyone's forgotten that you're gold medalists now. Like, they're looking towards Japan, and this Commonwealth Games is going to be difficult. Is it funny now that the pressure's come back on you guys so quickly after that Olympic goal?
Yeah, I've got to put one in there for the Sydney Sevens first.
Oh, of course, Sydney Sevens, yeah. Does that mean a lot to you as well? Because last year that hurt, didn't it?
Yeah, it hurt big time. So it's massive for us this year. And being on Australia Day is absolutely unreal. So, yeah, but then the Com Games, you know, we've won an Olympic gold medal. We want to try and win a Commonwealth gold medal. It's going to be the first time that we played Commonwealth as well, so we're absolutely stoked. The Gold Coast is going to be unreal, and yeah, playing on home soil, you can't beat that.
Well done, Tim Walsh, too, because he's got these girls primed and talking about next challenges, not the Commonwealth Games. Now, finally for you tonight, Sean Mackay Award, who are you going to give it to in the women's, because they both share the award? Who's your pick tonight out of the girls?
Oh, Sean Mackay Award, probably Cherry. Cherry's put in the hard yards. She's really stepped up this year as a leader. Shannon Parry and I obviously away with the World Cup, and she really, you know, level-headed, stepped up and took the reins. So I think she's added a lot of value to our team this year, so I'd give it to Emily Cherry.
But the best thing that's happened in Aussie Sevens for our women this year is that Tim Walsh got a haircut.
Oh my God.
He took the raccoon off his head. Was that a wig? The red thing?
Oh, we were always giving it to him. We love a bit of banter with him, and you know, it was going around Mr. Trump, so...
Yeah, it had its own Twitter handle at one stage. It was like, I don't know what happened there, but whoever did it, if you had a role in that, thank you. But good luck. Next, you guys are in Dubai, is that right?
Dubai, yeah.
Okay. Are you playing in the Central Coast Sevens?
Yeah, so we head off to Central Coast tomorrow, so the 2-day tournament up there, and then off to Fiji as well for the Coral Coast. So
Central Coast to Dubai. That's what Sevens can do, I suppose. Best of luck, mate.
Thank you very much.
Love to see you.
Cheers, mate.
All the best. Have a great night. Thanks very much, Shani Williams. And we've got now an up-and-coming superstar. Love this kid, Reece Hewitt, Australian under-20s gun. And I tell you what, he also won the award as he hit the gold carpet as the best-dressed man on the gold carpet. Sit down, son.
How you going?
You well?
Yeah, well, thanks. How are you?
Now, I've watched you very closely through the 20s. Very well led, mate, and you lead by example. What a rise this year, and how was that over there? It was in the 20s, Georgia, of course. I was about to say Russia, but it's almost the same thing. But we're not allowed to say that politically. But, mate, you as a skipper and as a leader, how are you feeling about things?
Yeah, really good. Obviously, was stoked to first of all get into the under-20s team. Like, it's been a long road of injuries for me, so I guess at the end of the day, my goal was to make the under-20s initially, and then obviously being told that I'd be captain of that was just obviously another massive honour, and I was obviously very excited because, you're going into a World Cup as a captain, so you want to do your best and you want to lead from the front. So yeah, I was very excited for it all.
And you're also not just an under-20s player, but you're playing in the NRC, contracted with the Reds as well. Did you get a Reds run this year?
Yeah, I made my debut the last game of the season, got a few minutes on there. So I mean, it's another tick in the box. So yeah.
Well done. Now, for you, NRC this weekend for Queensland Country, City, up against New South Wales Country.
Yeah.
Guys need to win that game because a win will put you through into the finals, but a loss will see you out of the comp. Is that right? Yep.
Yeah. Well, actually, unfortunately, I hurt my shoulder last weekend, so
you're out.
so I missed this weekend. But as you said, it's an important game. I mean, it's win or lose. Whatever team wins, will go through. So the boys have a lot on the line. It's going to be a tough outfit out in Orange, especially. So Country are going to have the home advantage. But as I said, I mean, it's the last game. It's to make the finals. So I guess the boys are ready to turn up. Like, still been at training. They've been had a really solid session, obviously coming up off the back of a disappointing loss last week. So yeah, it's do or die.
Now, talk to me. And I know what Simon Cron does for a team. He's now moved into the Super Rugby ranks for New South Wales, and he was very, very particular in not wrapping individual players. It was all about the team. But a lot of raps coming from you. But who are the teammates that you saw there that are going to be there next year for the Aussie 20s? Players that we're going to be talking about, it's going to be the next Reece Hewitt or is it Parisi or someone of that nature. Yeah. Who's the next one coming through that we should be looking out for?
Oh, I mean, there's a few boys. There's a few, obviously, alone in our Queensland 20s team. There's a young hooker, Effie Mafu, coming through. He's got a lot of talent. I mean, there's a big...
He played this year as well, didn't he?
Exactly, that's what I mean. You got big Rob Valentini, who was my other eight overseas, who's a big boy, and big raps on him coming through. He's obviously with the Brumbies. Still got another year. Smisi Tupou, who I went to school with him at Nudgee. Obviously, the Rebels made his Super Rugby debut. Still got another 2 years of 20s, and he's definitely an exciting player and someone to look out for in the future.
Yeah, excellent. Now, what's next for you, mate? You get over your shoulder injury. bit of time off in the off-season, or are you just going to get straight there, lift some tin down there at Ballymore and try and get in that 23 for the Reds?
Yeah, I mean, obviously we got a few more weeks to go. Then we got a bit of a break. Obviously, just gonna rest my shoulder and be good for pre-season. I missed pre-season last year with the injury, so I just want to come into pre-season full strength, body 100%, and yeah, crack in. And as you said, hopefully get my chances up to get in that 23 for next year.
Out of all the Wallaby guys, I was just saying before, Sean McMahon, is he a player that you're watching at the moment going, give me some of that? Because that kid can play.
Oh, yeah. No, for sure. He's another nudgy boy. I'm a nudgy boy myself. I've obviously followed him a lot. He's obviously a player that I look up to a lot. I mean, just the way he plays the game is obviously how I want to hold myself as well. So yeah, he's definitely up there for someone I want to be like and someone who I really look to when I watch rugby.
Do you get on well with him? Does he give you a bit of advice?
Yeah, I've met him a few times. Haven't really had to sit down with him and train with him yet, but obviously big raps on him from the other boys. So, and I just like his work ethic and mentality. So yeah, big fan of that.
Hard thing for you, mate, is Australian rugby keeps producing these back rowers. You know, these Sean McMahons, Michael Hooper, David Pocock, George Smith, but you're good enough, mate, and I've got no doubt you'll be wearing a gold jersey very soon.
Cheers, mate. Really appreciate it.
Well, there you go, Reece Stewart, who's a superstar, Aussie 21's captain, and I reckon he'd be a very, very good showing for Australian 20s Player of the Year. As we look now, you can go back and get amongst it, son.
Thanks, mate.
And, mate, best dressed, of course, as I just said before. Might be a good opportunity now to potentially look at what was happening here just before the awards tonight. It was the John Eales medal, now the Rugby Australia Awards. Heading down to the gold carpet and seeing our Wallaroos, our Aussie Sevens players, our Wallabies, some Fox Sports talent as well, and of course their better halves. As we'll cross our live to the gold carpet for Rugby.com.au.
So Sam, the Rugby Australia Awards, a bit of time to reflect on the year that was. Is it a special night for you guys?
Yeah, it is. It's the I think it's the first time that all the Sevens been invited, and really looking forward to take it all in and reflect on what was a successful year, bringing all the young boys in and blooding them. So yeah, we are looking forward to it.
And obviously you were injured for a lot of the year, but you got to watch on and see some of the guys grow and develop. Who's your tip for the Sean Mackay Award tonight?
Oh, yeah, it was good to sit back and watch a few of the young boys come up, but I think Chucky might have it. He really stood up when the squad needed him to throughout the year, so my vote would probably go to him. Any
young guys that you think might be in the mix?
Yeah, I think maybe Tim Anstey, Lockie Anderson, John Porch had a pretty solid season, so it's a bit of a tough one when it comes to the younger boys.
Awesome. Thanks, Sam. Have a good night.
Cheers, thank you.
So, Emily, a pretty exciting Rugby Australia Awards night tonight, and the Wallaroos Player of the Year is going to be one of the big awards. Who's your tip?
I'm not too sure, to be honest. It's been a pretty big year for the Wallaroos, so I think there's a few names in the hat, but probably I'm hoping for someone in the type 5 being my position and the engine of the team, so hopefully someone from there.
As you mentioned, it has been such a huge year, World Cup year for you guys. Is it nice to have a night like this to sit down and reflect on all the great achievements you guys made?
Yeah, for sure. It's really good. It's awesome to get invited to these events and I guess come back with our teammates and enjoy the big year that we've had, and hopefully we can remember some of those memories tonight and congratulate our teammates whichever way it goes. So yeah, it'd be awesome.
Emma, an exciting night for you guys. Is it nice to have a chance to reflect?
Yeah, of course. It's also really nice to dress up and have a night out, so we're really looking forward to it.
And I guess for you, this weekend's going to be a big one, making a comeback as well?
Yeah, I'm a bit nervous, but I'm really excited to get back out there, and Shannon Parry and Demi Hayes are also returning, so yeah, it should be a good new face for the squad.
And just finally, who's your tip for the Sean Mackay Award?
I'd have to say Chloe Dalton.
So Sean and Nia, how nice is it to spend a night together like this?
Yeah, really looking forward to it. It's always a good night here. The past couple of years has been great. It's going to be interesting to see who can take out the head gong there tonight, so it'll be interesting and a really good night.
And a lot of people are talking about you, Sean, as a contender, but I'm sure you won't talk yourself up. But Nia, do you reckon he's in the mix?
Yeah, why not? He has to be in the mix. He's been outstanding.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. Have a good night.
Thank you.
So Ned and Claudia, you're first one of these. How does it feel to be here?
Well, you can answer that if you want.
No, I think it's you go.
I came here for the 20s a couple of years ago, and yeah, everyone looks amazing. All the girls look beautiful, and the guys have spruced up in their suits. So really looking forward to a good night.
And you're in the mix for Rookie of the Year. Do you reckon you're a chance?
Oh, I don't know. There's a lot of good players that have put on the jersey this year. Dempsey, Marika, Rodder, there's plenty of them. So, no, I'm just here for a good time, really.
Awesome. Have a good one. Thanks guys.
Thanks very much.
So, Emily, a pretty exciting night. It's the first time all the Sevens players have been invited to the Rugby Australia Awards. Pretty significant for you guys?
Yeah, definitely. You know, every year we've come. I've been to the last 4 or 5 years, and every year we've been pushing for our whole squad to come. So it's a really exciting night for us to come and celebrate our whole season together.
And it's going to be a pretty tight race for that Sean Mackay Award tonight. I know you're one of the nominees, but who do you reckon is going to take the goal?
Chloe Dalton's got my vote. I think she's got most of the girls' vote. She's had an outstanding season, and she just keeps getting better and better. And not only is she Miss Reliable, but you know, she comes out with those big plays when we really need her. So Chloe Dalton's definitely got my vote.
Awesome, thanks, Emily. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Hello, how are you, Beth? You well?
So, Izzy, the Rugby Australia Awards, always an exciting night. You've been at the top of the podium a couple of times. How exciting is it?
Yeah, very exciting. You know, it's we've had a bit of a challenging year as a team in terms of you know, performances and that. But I felt like you know, a lot of the guys really stepped up to the plate with the opportunities they've been given, and certainly it's going to be exciting from that point of view. But yeah, looking forward to how the night pans out.
And I guess it's a pretty significant week for you, given that you're not going on spring tour. Are you savouring these moments a little bit more?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I think you know, for me, yeah, it's about enjoying every single moment, but probably a little bit more this time around. Not going on the end of year tour, but yeah, I guess the win on the weekend really topped things off, and obviously still another one to go with the Barbarians on Saturday. So I'm looking forward to that. But overall, it's been great.
And just lastly, you and Hoop seem to be in the race for that elusive third John Eales medal. Do you reckon one of you can get it tonight?
I'll definitely put my money on Hoops. He's had an outstanding year. Obviously, been one of our most consistent performers within the team, and always leads from the front, obviously, as the captain. So, yeah, I look forward to seeing Hoops take that tonight.
Right. G'day, thanks, and welcome to Rugby.com.au. And we're segueing in, and how good's this? Ned Hennigan is talking to a classic Wallaby. No, I'm very honoured to be talking to what many are picking tonight, Ned Hennigan, or Shed Hennigan, as they call you on Instagram. I just saw your post here, which is the Instagram with the beautiful Claudia. How good's living, punching. But yeah, plenty of talk about you being the Rookie of the Year, and they've changed Rookie of the Year this year. It's across all the codes, so Wallaroos, Sevens, NRC. And you're right up there, young buck. What a year, though. Yeah, of course. But what a year for you, mate. And coming to these awards and these things like this, do you soak it all in? Because I know you love your rugby, and you're probably sitting and looking across the room at a lot of these blokes you're playing with now and still feeling a little bit starstruck about things?
Yeah, absolutely. No, it's good. Everyone looks fantastic. The girls have spruced up, and yeah, no, I'm just here for a good night. But no, 100%. There were a few guys, or two of them, that actually just got inducted in the Hall of Fame. You know, guys that are receiving awards, the people that the awards are named after and things like that, they're in the room tonight. So yeah, it's special to be, you know, just amongst, you know, the likes of you and a few of the others.
Now, you did a HSBC Volunteer of the Year award nomination this year, so pretty close to your heart, that award. You didn't win, but still, it's so good to see a lot of these people being recognised through HSBC Volunteer of the Year, and especially at nights like this.
Yeah, 100% it is. They sort of mentioned it up there. You know, the success of our game doesn't come without a lot of volunteers, and I've nominated a guy, Jim Lloyd, who has always been around me when I was a bit younger, and you know, just you know, that bit of guidance as a little bloke running around, and yeah, no, it's so good to have an award like that, and I think you know, obviously you can't give it to all the people that are deserving, so just to give it to one person who's obviously put in that extra yard, I think it's a really good award.
Were you ever a little bloke? You said it's a little bloke. Like, you must have been like, yeah, little row, I'm sure. Now, tell me, spring tour, and I know you're playing this weekend, so I get that. I don't want to look too far ahead, but Has Check anywhere near naming his spring tour squad, or have you got a good idea? You know, sometimes you go, I'm in the starting, someone wearing a bib today, I think I'll be on the tour. Anything like that? Any feels about your place on this spring tour? Because it'll be a pretty good one, especially heading off to Japan, first test.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to Japan, if I go. So, answer the first little bit, I have absolutely no idea. I think you would assume that the team that started on the weekend and played an unbelievable game against the All Blacks will definitely probably be going. But, mate, I honestly have no idea. We've sort of really focused on this weekend. And, yeah, so on Saturday when he sort of tells the boys whether or not they're going to be going, I'll either be filthy or really happy. So, yeah, no, I'm really looking forward to it.
Well, it could be good news for New South Wales Country Eagles fans if you don't.
Yeah.
If they can, if they scrape through, exactly right. That competition's pretty close to your heart because it's where you got recognised and where you came through. And we talk about pathways and things like that. And you shouldn't disrespect the competition and call it a pathway comp. But this New South Wales Country Eagles team, it's got a pulse about it at the moment, and it's got a real bit of momentum coming into the final series. Do you still watch a lot of the NRC? Yeah, I do watch a lot of it. You probably know a bit more than me about the team this year, but yeah, no, look, it's a pathway that I think a lot of guys grab with both hands. They know if they perform at that level against other states, there's a lot of Super Rugby players running around there, and there's a lot of Wallaby players that come back and return there. So the calibre of player is extremely good, and yeah. Well, that is a segue if I've ever seen it. Have a look at this. That's all happening. Talk soon. See you back here at halftime.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
That's good.
Pardon the interruption, but we have to move on. Just a little snippet of NRC action there, and I should point out that there are no NRC awards being handed out tonight because we're heading to the business end of the competition, and the NRC awards will actually be announced at the grand final in a couple of weeks. But thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you enjoyed the main course. We will move on. Shortly, more Rugby Australia awards for 2017. But right now, it's a very good evening to Fox Sports presenter Louise Ransom, and she has a couple of the Aussie Sevens players with her, Tim Anstey and Emily Cherry. Thanks, Louise.
I certainly do. Thank you, Clarkie. Now, guys, these two players share a pretty incredible record. Both of them have scored 3 tries in 3 minutes in their Sevens careers at different times, so pretty impressive record. Do you remember yours, Emily?
Funnily enough, I do not remember. Patrick, our media guy, rang us and said, can you hop up on stage today and have a little chat? And I was like, oh yeah, what about? And he said, oh, about the hat-trick you scored. And I have no idea what game or what tournament it was scored in. I think Sevens, there's so many tries and you don't know whether you scored them or your teammates scored them. They kind of all blur into one.
My mail is it was back in 2014, so there you go. You can take that one away with you. Tim, yours, I remember yours very well because I was on the sideline at the Sydney Sevens tournament at Allianz Stadium. I'm sure you remember that because it was only back in February this year. Talk me through that pretty amazing way to sort of announce yourself on the Sevens scene.
Yeah, I guess it was pretty exciting. It was just my 3rd tournament. We just lost that first match that day to the Kiwis, so it was a pretty important match. And yeah, I don't know, the ball just kept popping into my hands, I guess. Probably weren't the most impressive tries, but I'll claim them, I guess.
Yeah, definitely, certainly do that. Now, Tim, also, you only just turned 20 recently. You've spent most of the Sevens, series this year travelling around the world, and it's a pretty amazing calendar you Sevens guys have to look forward to. What was it like travelling the world as a teenager with this Sevens team?
Yeah, it's not a bad gig, I guess. Quite a young bloke, as he said. And yeah, you get the opportunity to travel right around the world to cities such as Cape Town, Vancouver, Paris, London. So yeah, it's unreal. I guess probably a lot of my mates are quite jealous back home, but yeah, checking out those cities and playing footy in front of big crowds is pretty cool.
And playing pretty good footy along the way as well. Now, Emily, you've just led University of Queensland to the Aon Sevens tournament win, undefeated throughout that series. Tell me about it, because it was the first time we've seen that series played. Was it enjoyable, aside from obviously being undefeated?
Yeah, definitely. It was a great initiative by ARU, and to have the backing of Aon to set up the 4-leg series. I think the standard we saw was really incredible, and those young girls putting their hands up for our Aussie squad. And us Aussie girls really enjoyed playing with them. You know, they lift us, they give us that love for the game back, and going undefeated with UQ along with Emma Sykes was a pretty incredible run.
We've heard so much tonight about women's rugby in Australia growing and growing so much. It's great to see. Do you feel like it is really making a massive difference, and how are tournaments like these helping along the way?
Yeah, definitely. We've heard so much talk in the media. It's definitely growing, you know, across women's sport in general, and definitely rugby and rugby sevens. And Aon's definitely a great initiative going forward. And we've heard lots of talk. And this is something, you know, we can put our foot down and say, you know, it is building grassroots and it's building elite athletes as well. So, yeah, it's a great initiative going forward.
And now, Tim, what's coming up for the next couple of months? Of course, looking forward to the Sydney Sevens again in January, this time at Allianz Stadium. What do you got on before that?
Yep, so we're up to Central Coast this weekend for a little tournament, then off to San Jose, and then we got the Oceania tournament over in Fiji. So a bit of footy coming up, and then the World Series kicks off in Dubai in December.
And Emily, what about you? What's Tim Walsh got on the calendar for you guys?
Pretty similar. We've got Central Coast this weekend, and then we go into the Oceania tournament, and then we start the World Series in Dubai. And then, of course, next year's Commonwealth Games. So we're really looking towards that next year, and also World Cup. So it's a really big 12 months for us.
Yeah, amazing program for you both to be involved in. Thanks so much for joining us tonight. Clarkie, back to you.
Thank you, Louise. Louise Ransom from Fox Sports, Emily Terry, and also Tim Anstey. Tough life. San Jose, Dubai. Wait till you get to Hamilton and Waikato. That'll be a bit of a settler. By the way, it's great to see Aussie Sevens and Wallaroos star Mahalia Murphy here tonight as well. When the Wallaroos manager Amanda Ferguson sent a text out chasing the team for RSVPs to the Rugby Australia Awards, Mahalia apparently replied, "I can't make it, sorry. I'm attending the John Eales medal dinner." Mahalia, don't worry. Quite a few of us got caught out by the name change. Now the Australian under-20s is a key stepping stone on the pathway to gold, where our next generation of Wallabies are unveiled. Now, here to present the Under-20s Player of the Year award is a graduate of the Australian Under-20s program and a first-year Wallaby, Jack Dempsey. Would you please make him welcome? Jack was a star in the Under-20s, and this year he graduated to full Wallaby status. Now, tell us about your experience, first of all, playing in that Under-20s World Cup. How important is it to gain exposure at that level?
Yeah, it's very important. I think I played in 2013, 2014. I got lucky to play in 2 World Cups, one in France, one in New Zealand. And, you know, you obviously only have to look around men's sevens, Super Rugby and the Wallabies to see how many guys have represented Australia in the Under-20s. So it's obviously a really successful system. And it gives you a lot of experience, you know, not only on the international level, but against guys from other countries that, you know, you'll come against in professional rugby. I know for me, my first game of Under-20s, I was face to face with Artie Sevilla, and you know, a couple of years later, you're playing against him in Super Rugby.
And of course, Wallabies as well. And congratulations on your Man of the Match award at Suncorp Stadium last Saturday night. Some players wait a long time to knock over the All Blacks. So you must have been thrilled to do it in your very first year.
Yeah, it was a pretty special night. You know, obviously, we were disappointed as a whole that we couldn't win the Bledisloe, but you know, last Saturday was really special in a number. There was a bit going on. Obviously, we had the Indigenous New Jersey, and you know, obviously, as you mentioned, it was my first game against New Zealand. So there was a bit going on, and you know, it's a game and you know, a week that I'll remember forever.
Yeah, well done. Congratulations once again. And Jack, this year we have 3 outstanding nominees for the Under-20s Player of the Year: Reece Hewitt, Jordan Ulisi and Liam Wright. Over to you.
The Under-20s Player of the Year for 2017 goes to Liam Wright.
Well said, mate.
One of Australia's brightest young stars, Liam Wright had a breakout performance at the World Rugby Under-20 Championships. Wright captained Queensland to the domestic title with his pilfering and line-out strength catching coaches' eyes before his impressive international campaign. Yet to make his Super Rugby debut, Wright has already been noticed by Wallabies coach Michael Checker, picked in his squad to face the Barbarians.
Yes, Liam Wright, who was a standout performer for Australia at the 2017 Under-20s World Cup in Georgia. Been rewarded with a 2-year deal with the Queensland Reds, a spot in the Wallabies extended squad for this week's game against the Barbarians, as mentioned. Come forward, mate. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thanks very much.
Tell us about your experience playing at the World Cup, the Under-20s World Cup.
It was awesome. You know, you get to travel the world as a young guy and see places you wouldn't normally go. I don't think many people plan a holiday to Georgia, so it was really cool to go see that. And just really get a taste of that professional environment and see if it's something you really want to push for and make your career.
Mate, if you're going to bag Georgia, you better play sevens. San Jose, the Las Vegas, Hong Kong. You know, you're playing the wrong form of the game, maybe. But what about this week? You're in camp with the Qantas Wallabies. You're the Under-20s Player of the Year. I mean, did you ever at the start of the year think that this was going to happen so quickly?
No, never would have pictured it. You know, I've seen a lot of mates go through this program. You know, Geordie Walisi this year stepped up to the Wallabies from our team, which is unreal. And so it's really a dream to be in camp this week and just taking everything in, learning as much as possible. It's been great.
Well, you might want to maybe have some sort of tackling contest or scrummaging contest with Jack Dempsey, because he's got your jersey this Saturday against the Barbars. But I hope you've enjoyed the week. And congratulations again on being the Under-20s Player of the Year. Liam Wright, ladies and gentlemen, star of the future and a Queenslander.
Thank you, Greg. Well, in the past, we've handed out various rookie awards, but now under the Rugby Australia banner, we've combined them all to come up with just the one outstanding award, and that is the Rugby Australia Rookie of the Year Award. This award recognises a player that is deemed to have been the most outstanding first-year player from either the Qantas Wallabies, Buildcorp Wallaroos, Australian Vodafone Super Rugby teams, or the Qantas Australia men's and women's sevens team. The voting panel consists of former Wallabies, a representative from the media and a broadcaster, plus the Rugby Australia General Manager of High Performance. Joining me to present this award is a man who has seen many outstanding records in his outstanding career, the one and only, and my Network 10 colleague, Mr. Gordon Bray.
Thank you very much, Tash, and very excited to hear about your two boys. And we hope to see them in the Waratahs and the Wallabies a bit further down the track. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it has been an amazing year for our rookies. Michael Checker in 2017 has blooded no less than 11 debutants. So that's 24 since the World Cup. And I think that deserves a round of applause, and they have been stars. We've also seen 53 new rookies in Super Rugby this year, as well as a host of debutants for the Wallaroos and also in the Sevens program, men and women. So the four nominations for the 2017 Rookie of the Year are, in men's sevens, Lockie Anderson. From the Queensland Reds and the Wallabies, Isaac Rodder. From the Waratahs and also the Wallabies, Ned Hannigan. And from the Wallaroos, Millie Boyle. And the winner is a man who loves his thoroughbreds, the former stable hand for Gay Waterhouse, the Coonamble kid, Ned Hannigan.
One of 11 Wallaby debutants this season, Ned Hannigan has stood out from the pack. In just his second Super Rugby season, Hannigan made his debut against Fiji, going on to start in the next 7 matches for Australia. His tireless work around the park and strong ball carries are trademarks of his game, earning him Rookie of the Year.
Well, from Coonamble, we love country New South Wales, to the Wallabies, it's a long way, but Ned Hannigan completed that long road in 2017 when he became a Wallaby number 904. The St Joseph's College Joey's graduate represented Australian schools before being named Australian Player of the Tournament at the 2015 Under-20s World Cup in Italy. Ned, congratulations. It's absolutely outstanding. As a country boy in Canamble kicking around the footy, did you ever think you'd be here tonight?
I'm going to give a pretty cliched answer, but no. Yeah, like it's an absolute honour. Yeah, Lockie Anderson and the other nominees have obviously had a really good year. So, yeah, I'm just really humbled to be up here tonight.
And tell me a story. Is it true you had an interesting start for your first job helping out in stables for Gay Waterhouse? What was your job?
This always comes up. Yeah, I was a bit of a stable hand, pretty much throwing a bit of crap up into a pile and, yeah, just leading a few of our horses to the track of a morning. Yeah, so I did that. Tim Ratt was the coach of the 20s at the time, so I was working at the stables and, yeah, playing a bit of footy and studying at UNSW, so yeah.
And tell us what it feels like when you're running out and you put on that jersey and you think, I am representing my country.
Yeah, it's very special. You know, you're obviously very lucky and there's a lot of people to thank to get an opportunity like that. So, yeah, I can't really describe it in words. It's something that I hold very close to me and I'm extremely proud of. And, yeah, it's you dream of it as a kid. A little bloke running around and never thinking it's going to happen, and then it sort of gets closer, and then all of a sudden they name, I think it was on a Thursday, named the team, and yeah, I was the rest about the next 5 hours was a bit of a blur really. I don't remember a hell of a lot, just remember calling mum and dad. So yeah, it's something that you dream of as a kid, and I'm very lucky to have achieved.
What did your mum and dad say? Was it worth driving you to all those rugby matches?
Yeah. I think Mum actually said, yeah, we've just stopped doing cartwheels because they found out before I actually rang them. But, yeah, look, they're overly supportive. I can't thank them enough. Whilst going to Joey's, they were always there, coming to and from. And you don't really realise as a young bloke how much that really means. But I think now leaving school and still having them there, yeah, it's something that I'm very lucky for.
Going to make me cry. Yeah. Congratulations and well done.
Thanks
very, very well
much. Appreciate
deserved.
it.
Once again, big round of applause. So if you think of getting up a parent every Saturday and Sunday morning at 4 and 5 o'clock to support your sons, one day it's going to pay off. Congratulations once again, Ned. You've had a massive first year with the Wallabies and we are incredibly proud of you. Clucking.
Thanks, Natasha, and thanks to Gordy. Well, this year, the Rugby Australia Try of the Year is tougher than ever to win because in the past we've had separate awards for the best tries in Super Rugby, best tries in test matches and in sevens, etc. But this year we've streamlined things and we have just the one award for the most outstanding try across all of the Australian Super Rugby teams, like our men's and women's sevens teams as well, the Bilcorp Wallaroos and the Qantas Wallabies. And this award is given to the player deemed most responsible as voted by the Fox Sports commentators. And there is no one better to do the honours than the man who has scored more tries in Rugby World Cups than any other player in Wallabies history. Overall, he scored 34 tries in 71 tests for the Wallabies, 37 Super Rugby tries, 23 for Toulon in the French top 14. He's returned home to start his media career and is the latest recruit in the Fox Sports commentary team. Please welcome Drew Mitchell. Now, Drew, retirement didn't last long because I turned on to Rugby.com.au Tuesday night and there you were playing for the classic Wallabies against Alan Jones Barbars in Lismore. Pull up okay?
Yeah, not too bad. Bit of a sore head. We shared a beer with the Barbarians, made sure that their preparation for Saturday isn't top notch. So you can thank me later, Check. But no, the body not so good either. Just probably just reinforced why I made the decision to hang them up.
I read this week that Alan Jones had them on a booze ban. Don't tell him. You actually won this award last year. Now, you actually won this award last year. You know how satisfying it is to be recognised. So what do you reckon? Any of the tries this year, were they up with yours? Were they on par with yours last year?
No. I thought there were some fantastic tries being scored throughout Australian rugby. I mean, for me last year, I just did the same thing 6 times. I just left foot step, one after the other, and gave Adam Ashley Cooper a pretty rotten ball. So anyone who wins tonight is a much more deserving winner than I was last year.
How good was it to be at Suncorp, working on Fox Sports, calling and presenting on the panel your first Wallaby win over the All Blacks as a media personality?
Yeah, it was fantastic. Just to be there as a supporter first and foremost, just to know what these guys have been putting themselves through for a long period of time, and some of the things that I guess they've been subjected to from now my side. Just to put all that aside and get the reward that they deserve, and just to see how much it meant to them after the final whistle was fantastic. So hopefully those boys can go on and continue that success on the end of season tour.
Yeah, well said. Now, once again, the Fox Sports commentary team made the call on this year's try of the year, taking into consideration things like the quality of the opposition and the amount of skill and effort that obviously went into scoring the try. Many to choose from, and here are the nominees.
Powell away for Tua. He's a good ball runner. A big Rory Arnold. Here they come again on the charge. Smith finding Powell back inside to Fardy, and Kurandrani finds Fardy again. Tua and Powell. Oh, that's one of the tries of the season. Joe Powell, brilliant.
Falau. Sekope Kefu. Through the hole goes big Sekope Kefu. Still going. Now he's got support on the inside and he can get the offload. Still going Sekope Kefu. Half a metre. Reaches out there. Get there. I think he's there. Brilliant try. Oh, superb stuff. Sekope Kefu.
To Moore. Foley inside. It's worked so well. Hodge. Falau must be this time. Surely. Reece Hodge scores. At last, Australia will say.
And the winner of Rugby Australia Try of the Year, Joe Powell.
Yes, what a try. Joe Powell and the Brumbies against the Hurricanes in Super Rugby. Have another look. Not just one of the tries of the season, that is the try of the season in Australian rugby. And Joe, congratulations. Now, okay, it was your only try of the season, but you made it a good one, and that's what matters most. Touching the ball 3 times in the movement, I counted, and it was about a 95-metre effort, which included around 10 offloads. So nice to know that, you can be part of something that goes to plan. It was a cracker, wasn't it?
Yeah, definitely in slam cover. I'll remember it being my only try in Super Rugby. It definitely was an individual effort. I think, as you said, it went through so many people's hands. It was nice to be at the end of it.
And good to see a few forwards in there contributing as well.
Yeah, definitely a big fella Rory there. Gave us a bit of a hand. It probably ran the most distance out of anyone there. So it was good to see the big fella out in a big stride.
All right. Well, it was a cracker. The commentator, Grant Nisbet, called it at the time, one of the tries of the season. So a fantastic effort to you and the Brumbies. We look forward to seeing more of those spectacular tries in the future. Good luck also when you're playing in the Wallabies against the Barbarians on Saturday. How's the prep been for that?
Yeah, it's been a good week. I think we've had a couple of new faces. We saw a couple of young fellas up here before, so it's definitely been a good week. Been different to the previous week, so it'll be enjoyable for a couple of boys who've been training hard to get an opportunity.
And of course, the guy you're competing for that scrum half position for, Nick Phipps, is going to captain the side. So you've got a scrummaging, something in the corridor back at the hotel tonight organised for him?
Yeah, I think me and Jake Gordon were joking today that we'll try and take him out and train today, but it wasn't to be. But I think it's good that Nick's got the opportunity. I think, no more deserving person, hard-working man like himself to lead us on Saturday will be good.
All right, we look forward to seeing you in the 23. Our man most responsible for the try of the year from the Brumbies, Joe Powell. Congratulations once again. And please thank Drew Mitchell as well.
Next up tonight, we have the Vodafone Super Rugby Player of the Year, which is voted by a select group of Australian rugby journalists and commentators. Votes are cast during the 18 rounds, and we've had another close call this year, with just a handful of votes being the difference. Here to do the honour tonight is Vodafone Customer Business Unit Director, Mr. Ben McIntosh. In no particular order, let's see who is in the running for tonight. Adam Coleman, Emanaki Murphy, Alan Alatoa, and that's it. Ben?
I was practicing this pronunciation. Amanaki Murphy.
Amanaki Murphy capped off a stunning debut season, taking out the 2017 Super Rugby Player of the Year. Murphy lined up in every match for the Rebels, making an immediate impact.
And they take it quickly. Murphy is over! There's the try. Emanaki Murphy caught them napping.
Leading the competition in runs and the top forward in metres and offloads. The Japan international will be a key man for the Rebels in 2018.
Emanaki has certainly had a stunning debut season in Super Rugby, where he also took out the Rebels Players Award. The Japanese international was also one of 3 Rebels to play every Super Rugby game for the club. Now, unfortunately, he couldn't be with us here tonight. He's in Japan preparing to play the World 15 this weekend, and we certainly wish him all the best. Accepting the award on his behalf tonight is Rebel CEO Baden Stevenson.
Just on behalf of Amanaki, I know that he'd be very proud and honoured to win this award. So thank you to the commentators and the judges who voted on the award, and certainly to the Rebels players and his teammates that he played with this year. Amanaki's he's had a great impact in year one. I know that the first day that he arrived in Melbourne, he walked into my office, sat down in front of me. He said, "You've got my signature, but you've also got a piece of my heart." Shook my hand and walked out, and I went, "Oh, geez, I hope he can back it up." But he certainly backed it up in spades. He was outstanding for us all year. I think that he brought some entertainment to the competition. I know that he's looking forward to playing against some of his teammates and against the Wallabies in a couple of weeks. And he's super excited to come back and do it all again next year. And we'll look forward to another good year from Amanaki. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Baden. Thank you also to the wonderful team at Vodafone for your sponsorship for that award. Moving on now to Australia's choice for the Qantas Wallaby of the Year. The Qantas Wallabies vote for the John Eales medalist, but the fans decide the Qantas Wallaby of the Year. This Australia's Choice Award carries a huge significance as the call goes out to the hundreds of thousands of wonderful Wallabies supporters on social media. Fans are asked to vote for whom they believe has been the best and most consistent player over the past 12 months. Here to present Australia's Choice Qantas Wallaby of the Year is Head of Partnerships, Community and Events at Qantas, Michelle Walter. Please welcome Michelle to the stage. How are you? 28 Wallabies received votes from the fans, and the top 5 players are Adam Coleman, Bernard Foley, Israel Folau, Michael Hooper and Kurtley Beale. A big round of applause for all of these outstanding nominations. Michelle, over to you for the 2017 winner.
Thanks. Thanks, Tash. As the airline that represents the spirit of Australia, I'm incredibly proud to announce Australia's Choice tonight. So the Qantas Wallaby of the Year is Michael Hooper.
Since taking over from Stephen Moore mid-year, Michael Hooper has taken his game to a new level. The Wallabies' fearless leader has consistently been one of Australia's best in every match this year. Always willing to put his body on the line, Hooper's knack of coming up with the big play in the big moment has been crucial in tight matches throughout the year. Michael Hooper is your Australia's Choice Wallaby of the Year.
We just heard in that package here that you always put your body on the line. Oh my goodness, watching that game on Saturday night with that blood pouring out of your head, how are you?
Yeah, I'm surprised I got a date here tonight. So, no, she's come with me, which is very nice, and she did a bit of makeup for me, so all good, yeah.
You're wearing makeup now, mascara as well, or just cover up?
Yeah, well, cover up because I'm sweating now. I'm on the stage, so I don't know how you do it.
On a serious note, I think all of Australia just was holding its breath for those last few minutes with the game. And congratulations. How was that for you as the captain of the Wallabies and to finally get that win?
Yeah, it's only so many times you can keep telling the press, the journalists, that it's coming. You know, that the things we're working on are slowly starting to build. And I think the reward for all the players, the reward for the coaches who've been doing outstanding work came on that night. We didn't win anything. We didn't win any trophy per se, but we won a lot of confidence going into the spring tour, going into this weekend and things like that.
And talking about the spring tour, you've got a lot of grudges to settle there. Are you fired up?
Yeah, honestly, it's not one game in particular. We're looking at going and doing a job. It's a complete package. You know, my biggest thing for the team this week would be, we had a good performance last week, but to see the 23 pick this weekend to go out and put on a similar performance that was shown last weekend, the same attitude, the same things we're trying to achieve as a team. So what we leave going down the track is players who can step into a position, step into a role and do the job to the best of their ability.
What do you think the difference was last weekend? Where did you see the critical moment that you thought we can do this?
Probably the final whistle, really. It happened in Dunedin. We didn't get the job done. So final whistle was the icing.
And how are you feeling about this weekend?
Really confident. I really like the squad that's been put together. The intent I've heard throughout the week's been fantastic. I'm really excited to be a spectator and watch and see the boys rip in.
Congratulations once again. Incredibly well deserved, Michael. Thank you.
Well, now let's update the voting in the race for the 2017 John Eales medal. We're going to reflect on the 3 tests in June. With the British and Irish Lions touring New Zealand, Australia had tests against Fiji, Scotland and Italy. Israel Folau became the first Wallaby to score multiple tries in 3 straight tests when he scored doubles against all 3 nations. He finished with 6 tries, 274 run metres, 15 tackle busts. 6 Wallabies debuted during June, including another dual international, Carmichael Hunt. So let's take in some highlights from June.
The Wallabies opened the June Test series against Fiji. Australia had all the control early, and despite some enterprising play from the Fijians, the Wallabies were too classy in the end. Israel Folau returned to his best in a man-of-the-match performance.
They won't drag him in. It's a try to Israel Folau.
Up next for the Wallabies was a Scotland side with nothing to lose. Trailing for the first hour, Will Genia gave Australia the lead for the first time. Scotland hit back immediately, and despite a desperate last-ditch effort from the Wallabies, they ultimately came up short. On a tough day for the home side, Israel Folau again led from the front. Stefan Ivalu was at his electric best early in Australia's final June test against Italy before the Azzurri closed the gap to 1 point. Nervous times, the Wallabies responded with 2 late tries, including a brilliant 80th minute team try finished by Reece Hodge.
Hodge, good change of pace. Reece Hodge, he's over it. What a way to finish.
Yeah, they were the 3 games. Mixed results on the field. 2 out of 3 in June, but once again there were some standout performances. So let's go to the leaderboard after the June tests. And with David Pocock now on a sabbatical, Israel Folau moved into top spot on 179 points, opening up a handy lead. David Pocock still second, ahead of Bernard Foley, Dane Hale-Petty and Michael Hooper. Tavita Kurandrani, Stefan Ivalu, Adam Coleman, Carmichael Hunt and Rory Arnold making up the top 10. 8 tests down, 7 to go. And anything can still happen, folks. And we're going to take a short break for some dessert, a bit of a mix and mingle. Then we're back with the remaining awards, including the John Eales medal. So we're back in a flash.
So Sam, the Rugby Australia Awards, a bit of time to reflect on the year that was. Is it a special night for you guys?
Yeah, it is. It's the I think it's the first time that all the 7's been invited, and really looking forward to take it all in and reflect on what was a successful year, bringing all the young boys in and blooding them. So yeah, we are looking forward to it.
And obviously you were injured for a lot of the year, but you got to watch on and see some of the guys grow and develop. Who's your tip for the Sean Mackay Award tonight?
Oh, yeah, it was good to sit back and watch a few of the young boys come up, but I think Chucky might have it. He really stood up when the squad needed him to throughout the years. So my vote would probably go to him.
Any young guys that you think might be in the mix?
Yeah, I think maybe Tim Anstey, Lockie Anderson, John Porch had a pretty solid season. So it's a bit of a tough one when it comes to the younger boys.
Awesome. Thanks, Sam. Have a good night.
Cheers. Thank you.
So, Emily, a pretty exciting Rugby Australia Awards night tonight, and the Wallabies Player of the Year is going to be one of the big awards. Who's your tip?
I'm not too sure, to be honest. It's been a pretty big year for the Wallaroos, so I think there's a few names in the hat, but probably I'm hoping for someone in the tight five, being my position and the engine of the team, so hopefully someone from there.
As you mentioned, it has been such a huge year, World Cup year for you guys. Is it nice to have a night like this to sit down and reflect on all the great achievements you guys made?
Yeah, for sure. It's really good. It's awesome to get invited to these events and I guess come back with our teammates and enjoy the big year that we've had, and hopefully we can remember some of those memories tonight and congratulate our teammates whichever way it goes. So yeah, it'd be awesome.
Emma, an exciting night for you guys. Is it nice to have a chance to reflect?
Yeah, of course. It's also really nice to dress up and have a night out. So we're really looking forward to it.
And I guess for you, this weekend's going to be a big one, making a comeback as well?
Yeah, I'm a bit nervous, but I'm really excited to get back out there. And Shannon Parry and Demi Hayes are also returning. So yeah, it should be a good new face for the squad.
And just finally, who's your tip for the Sean Mackay Award?
I'd have to say Chloe Dalton.
So Sean and Neo, how nice is it to spend a night together like this?
Yeah, really looking forward to it. It's always a good night here. The past couple of years has been great. It's going to be interesting to see take out the head gong there tonight. So it'll be interesting and a really good night.
And a lot of people are talking about you, Sean, as a contender, but I'm sure you won't talk yourself up. But Nia, do you reckon he's in the mix?
Yeah, why not? He has to be in the mix. He's been outstanding.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. Have a good night.
Thank you.
So Ned and Claudia, you're first one of these. How does it feel to be here?
Well, you can answer that if you want.
No, I think it's you go.
I came here for the 20s a couple of years ago, and yeah, everyone looks amazing. All the girls look beautiful, and the guys have spruced up in their suits. So really looking forward to a good night.
And you're in the mix for Rookie of the Year. Do you reckon you're a chance?
Oh, I don't know. There's a lot of good players that have put on the jersey this year. Dempsey, Marika, Rodder. There's plenty of them. So no, I'm just here for a good time, really.
Awesome. Have a good one. Thanks guys.
Thanks very much.
So, Emily, a pretty exciting night. It's the first time all the Sevens players have been invited to the Rugby Australia Awards. Pretty significant for you guys?
Yeah, definitely. You know, every year we've come. I've been to the last 4 or 5 years, and every year we've been pushing for our whole squad to come. So it's a really exciting night for us to come and celebrate our whole season together.
And it's going to be a pretty tight race for that Sean Mackay Award tonight. I know you're one of the nominees, but who do you reckon is going to take the gong?
Chloe Dalton's got my vote. I think she's got most of the girls' vote. She's had an outstanding season, and she just keeps getting better and better. And not only is she Miss Reliable, but you know, she comes out with those big plays when we really need her. So Chloe Dalton's definitely got my vote.
Awesome, thanks, Emily. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Hello, how are you, Beth? You well?
So, Izzy, the Rugby Australia Awards, always an exciting night. You've been at the top of the podium a couple of times. How exciting is it?
Yeah, very exciting. You know, it's we've had a bit of a challenging year as a team in terms of you know, performances and that. But I felt like you know, a lot of the guys really stepped up to the plate with the opportunities they've been given, and certainly it's going to be exciting from that point of view. But yeah, looking forward to how the night pans out.
And I guess it's a pretty significant week for you, given that you're not going on spring tour. Are you savouring these moments a little bit more?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I think you know, for me, yeah, it's about enjoying every single moment, but probably a little bit more this time around. Not going on the end of year tour, but yeah, I guess the win on the weekend really topped things off, and obviously still another one to go with the Barbarians on Saturday. So I'm looking forward to that. But overall, it's been great.
And just lastly, you and Hoop seem to be in the race for that elusive third John Eales medal. Do you reckon one of you can get it tonight?
I'll definitely put my money on Hoops. He's had an outstanding year. Obviously, been one of our most consistent performers within the team, and always leads from the front, obviously, as a captain. So, yeah, I look forward to seeing Hoops take that tonight.
When it drops, I can't take my eyes off it. Moving so phenomenally. You more like the way we rock it. So don't stop under the
Gee, they're in some good form too, the Aussie Sevens. Off to the Central Coast, the Sunny Coast this weekend, is that how you say? Tommy Lucas, welcome.
Yeah, off to the Sunny Coast this weekend for one of the biggest domestic tournaments in the Aussie rugby calendar, so it should be good fun.
So tell me about this. So you've got the Central Coast Sevens, and then you've got something like the Kiama Sevens, and you could even argue like the Deadly. So there are all these little hubs around. Do you ever think that there could potentially be like an Australian series for Sevens, or like the domestic comp? Like I know the Aon Uni Sevens was a huge success and it touched into that university system, but I do see that there's a under sort of swell of local comps if they could join forces and bring out sort of like a local league.
Yeah, definitely. Well, that's where I started. Obviously with Sunnybank up in Queensland, we had Noosa, we got Byron Bay up there, so it's definitely something that we can build upon and get that next talent coming through.
Byron Bay Sevens. Talk to me about that. How does that one go?
How good? It's very social, but good fun. It's a Saturday, Sunday on the beach.
Well, there was a game in Lismore. I don't know if you watched it. Played in it. Drew played in it. A couple of others. Mate, there's so much passion there. You're from Queensland. I know. It's deep in your DNA about club footy, but just coming back from Lismore and feeling that sort of bush rugby feel. Do you sometimes get a feeling, and even at events like this with the HSBC Volunteer of the Year, and that's you saw the Ward family up there about the Ringa Rats, and I know that the club rugby system's pretty close to your heart with your brother playing as well. This whole community vibe and how it's sort of making a resurgence in rugby, do you feel that at the Sevens level?
Yeah, definitely. Well, we look forward to every chance we get to get back to our clubs, because that's where it is. You obviously love playing for the clubs for that reason, is getting amongst old mates, juniors you used to play with, getting down to training on a Tuesday, Thursday night. It's what rugby's about.
Now, let's quickly go back from club to Sevens. You picked two teams this weekend, Friendy. It must be indecisive, so he's thought, I can't settle on a team, so I'll just pick two of them. There's a gold team and a green team. It sounds like, by the look of it, looks like the green team's the development team, and the golds are sort of that top-tier team. Is there a couple of chances on the line, do you think, this weekend? Even Friendy's sitting back and has got his eye on a couple of players?
Yeah, definitely. He's picked two very strong teams, and it, I suppose, gives him the best chance of winning the comp, having two teams out there. But in all seriousness, he'll have, 24 players to look at and to put their best foot forward to getting on this World Series legs.
Now, all of a sudden and overnight, you've become a veteran. And I remember bumping into you at training the other day, and I said, "Oh, mate, how old? You're only a pup." But how does it feel now that you're one of the senior players in the squad? Maybe it's the man bun that made me feel that you're younger than you are, because all these young kids coming through have got these man buns. But in all seriousness, you're in a new role now, and leadership sort of just snuck up on you, and you now need to lead by example.
Yeah, definitely. Sort of post-Olympics, we had that big sort of moving on period, and something that I've looked forward to. There's a lot of fresh faces in the team, and that just breeds excitement, and I can't wait to rip in with the boys this year.
Now, who's your pick this year? Sean Mackay. Is it Sean Mackay Award, not medal? Sean Mackay Award. Yeah. I love this award because I was mates with Shawnee, and I know how much it means to his family as well. I played with him back in the day, but he's just come from good oil, Shawnee. But the person that wins it always gets very emotional, and they love the award. Who do you think will win it tonight?
I'm backing the old dog, Chucky Stannard. Obviously had a massive year, stayed on the park all year, and gives so much to this team, so I reckon he'll take it out.
I actually feel like Chucky needs a win because he's missing his front teeth, and I think he just needs something. So imagine if you were Chucky right now. You got no hair because it's fallen out. You got no
more hair on his chest.
You've got no teeth, so you need to give him an award. Give him something. Give him something to make him feel special because he needs it.
Give him the award, get him up there in front of everyone, give him a speech. What better?
No, I love Chucky Stannard. And the hard thing is, mate, like he actually could genuinely get back in the 15 squad and play Super Rugby, but his home is Sevens. And I know he's passionate about coaching as well. Coached at the Aon Uni Sevens this year. He's hanging around for one more. There was sort of umming and ahhing about him wanting to play another year because of his rig, but he's going to hang around for one more. It's good for the club.
Yeah, it's great for us. Obviously, as I said before, he brings so much to this team. And as he sort of goes into coaching, he brings that to the training field as well. He's always happy to stick around after. with the young blokes and even with us to give us whatever we needed. He's obviously a great kicker and he helps me out with that a tremendous amount. So he's got so much to give and we're lucky to have him.
Now, quickly, I'm just going to talk about two things, and I know you'll be focused on the next tournament. Sydney Sevens, that was almost like a coming out party for this. It is a party, especially on the sideline, but on the field it's very serious. It was this new breed of players coming through under Andy Friend. It was your coming out party. My God, like, you know, Lockie Anderson and Liam McNamara and all these names that we'll be talking about for many years to come. So it's got a pretty unique, special place for the men's team. Are you looking forward to that tournament?
Yeah, I actually haven't got to play in a Sydney Sevens yet, but yeah, it's definitely one all the boys look forward to, just to get that chance to play Sevens, to play here in Australia in front of family and friends. It's the best thing ever. So it's definitely one we single out for and want to do well.
And how's Friendy going, mate? A couple more questions, I'll keep it on Friendy. I know that he's a very popular coach amongst the young players, but he's taken this squad to new heights, and he's been able to bring the older blokes along with it, with Jenko and Chucky still involved. But him as a coach, you learning plenty?
Yeah, learning plenty. He provides such a good environment for the boys at training and at tournaments on the weekends. So what we're building here is something special, and hopefully we can hold together and take it to new heights.
And you're just saying off air before that you're the most talented out of all the Lucas brothers, and did I misinterpret that?
Yeah, you definitely did.
But good pedigree, mate, and love watching you play. I love seeing the whole family play, and I'd love to see you out there at Sydney Sevens, mate. It'll be good for you and the clan, and I wish you well. Go well. Where are you off to next?
We're off to Central Coast, then San Jose, but the big stuff starts in December with Dubai and then Cape Town.
Dubai, Cape Town, Sydney Sevens. How good?
Australia Day weekend.
Australia Day weekend, he's plugging it. Get there, sydneysevens.com.au. Tommy, you're a good man. We'll see you throughout the year. As Tommy Lucas leaves the stage, we bring on more Sevens talent and YouTube sensation. We'll bring them right now. We're just seeing some players come through. Come on up. Join us. My name's Adam Fry. Nice to meet you.
Yeah, I'm Cassie.
Cassie, of course. I've seen you on YouTube. You're like a sensation. Yeah. So the new way of getting recognised by a coach now isn't going down and training in front of them or camps. It's just go straight to YouTube. Put it out there.
I think so. I guess it was a bit of luck. I trainer put it up online and the right people saw it. So credit to him, and I guess I'm here now. Yeah.
And now part of a magical crew.
Amazing bunch of girls, yeah.
And I even saw you on the gold carpet before, Instagramming or WhatsApping and Snapchatting or whatever they call it. But it must be a wild ride, like to go from there and now moving into a new era. How's it been in camp so far?
It's been amazing so far. Right now we're preparing for Central Coast Sevens this weekend. We've got Oceania in the next couple of weeks, and obviously the first leg of the HSBC World Series. So it's been really positive, been working really hard, and a pretty heavy pre-season so far. Yeah.
Now, there's a mystery about the coach, right, Tim Walsh, because we know that he's won gold, and we know that he's, I think his hair is amazing. I was talking about it before, how good his haircut is, but you're going into the camp now, a new environment, and you don't know Tim as well as the other girls, but give us your first sort of impressions of this coach, because he's a great rugby mind, and I think people underestimate actually how intelligent he is, but how strong he is, not just as a coach, but in building connection and culture. How have you found Tim so far?
He's been awesome. I mean, my first impression of him was he was super smart. Very intelligent. I got that vibe straight away from him. And he's very big on team connection and team bonding and making sure, fit into that environment pretty well. So he's been great for the team. I think he's, definitely the leader that the girls, look up to, and the leader and the coach that we need. Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what, one thing about Walsh is he gets you guys up for big tournaments. And I know you've got Dubai coming up, but Sydney Sevens, it's going to be pretty cool. Now, is that one you've got your eye on and love to be a part of in front of 40,000 people there at Allianz Stadium over 3 days? You're on the main fields this year as well. Pretty excited about that.
I would absolutely love it. At this stage, I'm just preparing for the first couple of tournaments coming up. But Sydney Sevens is definitely on the horizon. I'd love to be a part of that. But yeah, I'm just preparing and getting through the next few tournaments, focusing on playing well, and then hopefully get the selection for Sydney Sevens as it comes.
You've answered it exactly how well she would have wanted you to. Like, it's not about Sydney Sevens yet, girls. Stop talking about it. Get to the Sydney Coast first, then you buy. Who are the players that have really looked after you? And the one thing that there was a real magic, and I know I'm talking about social media, but in that there's a post up on Instagram of you with your new teammates. There's a certain bond and connection amongst the girls. I'm actually quite jealous of it because it seems like really strong. Which girls have really inspired you and really looked after you? I know you'll say all of them, but is there anyone that you look up to who's really mentoring you in this early part?
Yeah, the girls have in general. The whole team's been amazing with me, in my development and learning and just my progress and my journey so far. But I'd probably have to say Shani Williams and Emily Cherry. I think those girls have especially, looked after me. I was completely new to Sevens in the last year and extremely nervous when I first took my first World Series earlier this year, and they've been nothing but supportive. But in general, the whole team has been amazing. Yeah.
And when you say with the Sevens and being it's difficult to learn straight up, because I think you sit back at home and watch it and you think, you just got to be really fit. But you look through all the little parts and the detail of it, like the scrummaging and the ruck and the ball. It's not an easy sport to pick up straight away. So you're obviously very talented to be able to pick it up. Do you feel that this year coming, you'll be, I won't say more prepared, but more confident in owning the sport?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, this past year has been, completely dedicated to learning the new sport in general. But this next year, I feel already, confident going to this season with the preparation I've had with the girls. And they've been nothing but supportive and, willing to share their knowledge with me. So that's, made the journey all that more easy, being along plays like that. Yeah.
And tonight, when you look at award winners, the Sean Mackay Award to the best women's player this year in the Sevens format. Who are you going to give it to? There's a consistency in the answers, but I'd love to hear yours.
Oh gosh, there are a few girls there that I think are 100% deserving of it. But I reckon it probably either maybe Emily Cherry or Chloe Dalton this year.
You know what? That's what everyone's been saying. Not just Emily Cherry or Chloe Dalton on which answer I get. Everyone's saying both. So it could be joint winners this year. She's a champion. You don't realise that Emily Cherry's a former World Rugby Player of the Year, Aon Sevens Player of the Year. How did you find the Aon Sevens this year?
An incredible experience. I played with the Canberra side. Awesome platform in just developing women's rugby across Australia. So that was awesome to be a part of. And I think we got a couple of cool new shining Aon Series stars. So hopefully see a lot more of them coming into the next few years.
Of course, Emily Cherry taking out that award as Player of the Year. But look, enjoy the night. Is it your first, I was about to say John Eales Medal, first Rugby Australia Awards? It's everyone's first Rugby Australia Awards, but your first awards night for Australian Rugby?
Yes, it's my first time tonight.
And enjoying yourself?
Yes, I'm enjoying it. The food's awesome, entertainment's great, the vibe's awesome too.
Good, excellent. Well, best of luck at the Sunny Coast, and then keep level. Don't talk about Sydney until you get to Sydney. Yeah. That's from Walshy. Yeah. All right, great stuff. Well, we'll return to the action very soon. We'll take a short break here at Randwick Racecourse as we prepare for more awards and the main award, the John Eales Medal.
Thank you. I didn't know if I was meant to get up just now.
I'm gonna praise you. Everything that could go wrong, all went wrong at one time. So much pressure fell on me, thought I was gonna lose my mind. But I know you wanna see if I will hold on through this trial. But I need you to lift this load, cause I can't take it no more. Take the shackles off my feet so I can dance. I just wanna praise you, I just wanna praise you. You brought my tears, now I can lift my hand. And I'm gonna praise you, I'm gonna praise you. Oh, I take the shackles off my feet so I can dance. I just wanna praise you, I just wanna praise you. Hey, you brought my tears, now I can lift my hand. Said I'm gonna praise you, I'm gonna praise you.
as we prepare for the crescendo. I'm using a word like this man here, Gordon Bray, and I could say our very own, but that would be a little bit selfish. But Rugby.com.au radio.
I'm part of the woodwork, aren't I?
Yeah, certainly are.
Rugby.com.au with it, commentating with Adam Fryer. What a thrill. And I was worried about you on Tuesday night.
What was that?
With all those big guys, but you smashed it, mate. Well done.
Mate, I certainly didn't smash it. I did enjoy myself though, Gordy, and I think the best thing about it was in Lismore, 3,500 people, grassy hill, cans of beer.
Beautiful.
Lovely, lovely. Now, you said before, I think you are certainly part of the fabric of Rugby.com.au, but part of the fabric of rugby in itself.
Thanks to you, because you've been a great supporter.
Of course, always have been. But, mate, it was really great to see you up on stage before, and don't take this the wrong way. It was great to see you back because you are the voice, and it was just the way you introduced the award and the way you got into it. It's somehow sometimes a little bit lost, but to hear you calling rugby again at a Super Rugby level and at a Test level, I just love it, mate. So I want to hear more of it, is what I'm saying.
Okay, well, Channel 10 obviously is the free-to-air rights holder. We've got a new owner now in CBS. There's one more hoop to jump through, but I think they'll really focus on sport and news, and that means putting more money into it, and that can only be good for rugby. So for me, it's just a great thrill to be calling the big games. I love calling the Wallaby games. I actually psyched myself up for last Saturday up at Suncorp by watching the Barbarians versus the Wallabies in 1984, the whole game. Watching David Campese, Mark Ella, Michael Liner.
What did you laugh then, Mark Ella?
No.
He was there.
They were just gems, those guys. And I asked that question to Alan Jones today at the press conference. Alan, the way you guys played that day in that Barbarians clash, does that still apply today? And he went on for about 3 or 4 minutes. You couldn't stop him.
He's good at that.
He was very good. But he basically said, yes, we scored 6 tries and 4 of them came from counter-attacks. So it's about having a go. When the opportunity's there, take the risk and go all the way.
And it's interesting you say that because the Test match, and I'll get your thoughts on the Bledisloe just there, but isn't it great now that teams don't take the 3? It's almost become, it was like 12 months ago, it was a shock, but Hoops, he sprints to the ball to grab it, to point to the sideline. I think there's a place that the 84 could make a resurgence, but anyway, a quick thought on the game, just as we segue back in.
Yeah. Look, I thought it was a fantastic performance by Australia, and the point was made by Greg Cornelson. The Aussie defence was so well organised. What a triumph for Nathan Gray, because he was humiliated at ANZ Stadium as the Aussie defence coach, but to turn it round from being down 54-6 after 50 minutes and to come out and beat the All Blacks, 5 or 6 weeks later. Great defence and a fantastic will to win. And it's the young guys who really turned it round.
The young guys, but the old guys will always reign supreme. Gordy, love your work. Talk soon. We'll clap back to Clarkie. Thank you, mate.
Beautiful, mate.
Thanks, Gordy.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Apologies for the interruption. Heading into part 3, and then we can kick back. The band will be playing later. And you can do your mixing and mingling then. Shh. I have to shush you because we've got 2 very important people joining us. Coming up, the final awards of the night, including the big one, the John Eales Medal. But first, let's bring in the roving microphone and catch up with the host of Kick and Chase and our match coverage on Fox Sports, Nick McArdle, who is with Qantas Wallabies coach Michael Checker.
Thank you very much, Clarkie. Great to catch up with you. Check, I want to ask you about, first up, Saturday night. Now, we were all able to sit back and enjoy that as spectators. You in the coach's box, do you have any moment where you can genuinely enjoy what's happening on the field?
Yes. Like, I think if you talk to the other coaches, and you will see from the vision that we're all pretty relaxed in there.
Yes,
you know?
very.
And
yeah.
I think at one stage Mick called a pizza for delivery just to see how we go. No, genuinely, I think we were probably giving out so many messages. With about 5 minutes ago, I said, look, anyone who's listening to the messages, just don't listen to them. I'm just getting it off my chest right now. So, but you do enjoy that's why you do it, the highs and the lows, that's a live part of the game for us. It's good fun, in there screaming and yelling or, getting nervous. It's the emotional part of the game, which you'd never want to lose.
And we love seeing it from time to time, your emotions in the coach's box.
Yeah, well, We're humans after all, you know what I mean? It's happy and sad.
So there was a moment in the second half where Phil Kearns said, our Wallabies have turned a corner. But the reality is it's been happening for a lot longer than that moment in the second half on Saturday night, hasn't it?
Well, I'd say myself, as the coach, it's been happening since the World Cup finished. But I will say that, in every match you have to turn a corner. That's, I think, for me, the huge difference of never having played Test rugby, coaching Test rugby, is that every match is such a huge challenge. And you have to turn that corner in every game. And if you ever, I think we've been guilty in the past of, saying we've turned a corner and then sitting on the corner and waiting for someone else to pick us up, you know what I mean? And instead of just turning that same corner every game and doing that consistently. And I think that's a huge area that we've been working on. I think Michael Hooper has made a huge addition, along with his vice captains, in Will and Bernard, in getting that consistency into our game, and we've got to continue to do it, because that's what being consistent is, doing it every week.
Now, as a coach, you can't rest on what's happened. You would always be thinking ahead and what's to come over the next few weeks. And one of the big moments on that spring tour will be the game against England. And I know every test match is important, but is there something that's a little bit special about getting another crack at England?
Oh, it'll be special when that week comes, you know what I mean? I think before that, there's still a lot of things that we need to do. I know this week's going to be a big game for a lot of players. We still have a couple of spots on the tour available, and I'm being very genuine about that. I think there's one probably backline position and one forward position still available on the tour. So we're looking to see how we go this weekend with players that probably haven't had the chance to play 80 minutes, and they'll get those opportunities now. And then I personally feel that the Japan game is a huge one, and I think there's something that we need to learn. We are putting a lot towards getting ourselves prepared for the World Cup since 2015. We know we have to deal with the small victories along the way, but performing in Japan will be very important for us. We've got a game there this year. I think there's a game there next year as well before we lead into the World Cup, and just being there and performing and getting that feel good. I know that sounds, a little bit sort of, airy-fairy, getting that feel good for the place. I think when you start winning somewhere, you have that good feeling. You get there, you want to be there, and that's something we want to set from day one when we step into Japan.
All right, just to the here and now, and we've seen the leaderboard, and of course someone in your team who hasn't collected any votes at this stage being Kurtley Beale. We're just about to see him, I would imagine, storm up the leaderboard during the Rugby Championship. I haven't done the calculations, but knowing how well he played, is he a smoky?
Look, I'm pretty bad at math, so I don't know how many points are left. And he does go around, since he's been back, he's been talking to the boys straight after the game in the dressing room, asking them to vote for him. There's been free tickets to movies, and, he's been giving them some cash, I think, too, perhaps. So obviously he's going well with the dollar, so he's giving them a bit. But look, I'm sure he'll come up the rankings. It'll be, Folau's up there. You never know who's going to turn up the way these blokes think after a game. They could vote for anybody.
Exactly right. Go well this weekend. Go well on the spring tour. Ladies and gentlemen, Michael Checker.
Thank you very much.
Nick and Michael, thank you very much. I absolutely love Michael's sense of humour. What a fantastic man. Now it is time to go on to our next award tonight, and we have the Women's 15s Player of the Year Award. To be nominated for this prestigious award, the person must have represented Australia's national women's team, the Build Corp Wallaroos. Once the nominees were decided, the winner was chosen by a panel consisting of the National Performance Programs Manager, Wallaroos Head Coach and High Performance Manager. To present the award tonight, it's my great pleasure to welcome to the stage the Australian Women's Rugby President and Principal of the Wallaroos Naming Rights Sponsor, Build Corp, Josephine Sukkar. Also, a massive congratulations to the lovely Josephine, who won an Order of Australia this year for her outstanding services to women's sport, in particular rugby. Josephine, before we go on to the Wallaroos, we were talking earlier, I hope you're okay if I share this story.
Uh-oh.
In regards, we're talking about the difference that rugby can make, especially to young men and women, and you were saying you've seen firsthand the difference that rugby has made to your wonderful son.
There's a lot of Wallabies in this room who might challenge me on this. Yes, our son has been playing with Sydney University for a number of years and last year was made club captain. And the formative experience my husband Tony and I felt that was for him was amazing. He will one day potentially run our business, and that's really hard. And some of the things you have to do when you're put into roles like being club captain is have hard conversations with your mates if they've played up on the weekend and still be able to pack a scrum with them, or go out and have a beer. Some of the things that we do day to day, just as grown-ups and in our business, you're forced to do. Making speeches at Sydney University, and there's a very eminent group of ex-rugby players in that club, and when you're 25, 26, that's big. So we've certainly felt that it was very formative. Yeah.
Important life and business lessons learned indeed. Josephine, onto the Wallaroos. They won back-to-back tests and took home a respectable 6th place in the World Cup, securing their spot in the next tournament for 2021 in the World Tournament. Now, you were there with the team to share the journey. Tell us what that was like.
Oh, it was incredible. Do you know, we're on a journey with the Wallaroos at the ARU, and they've ensured that we've been able to put a team out there pretty much every World Cup, which is amazing. The interest in the 15s format of the game has been fantastic. Finally, we understand the women's sevens match with the gold medal has been wonderful. For me, watching them, every match they seem to, they did improve, every single match. So it was just such a privilege to watch this journey and to see how the ARU are working so hard to try and ensure that we have our place well and truly cemented in World Rugby.
And you mentioned it before. What was it like with that gold medal? That was absolutely outstanding.
I gave a very unrestrained interview. I shouldn't have done that to the Australian, where I said something. I was called 2 minutes after they won, and I said something like, we should be declaring a national holiday, which of course became the headline, and I got in trouble from my husband. He said, just don't answer phone calls until you calm down. But it was all of that. We'd watched the journey. They were HSBC World Champions. We knew that they were best in the world, but to have the nation know what happened and to watch the response of Australia, I think was probably the exciting thing, to have our code be on the front page, to, photographs. There's a beautiful photograph of Chloe Dalton and her grandmother when she first sees her, I can see you here, Chloe, showing her medal. It's just what it did for us as a rugby community was amazing.
And what about the Women's World Cup here in Australia? How amazing would that be? And do you think it's possible?
Bill, I didn't say anything. There were spies in the boardroom today. We would love to host a World Cup here in Australia, and the next one is 2021. Who have you been speaking to? You're going to get me into trouble with the boss. So we're having a look at what it might take to be able to mount a Women's Rugby World Cup here in Sydney or Brisbane in 2021. Obviously it takes money, so please, if you are interested in this format of the game, I do this every time. I ask for people to come on board and sponsor the girls. Come on board and sponsor us if you think it's worthwhile. The ARU need to have a look at it and see whether we can make sense of that. But if we can, how incredible would it be to show both formats of the game?
It would indeed. And Josephine, a big round of applause once again for all that you have done, especially for rugby. Now we have outstanding nominees for the Wallaroos this year, and the nominees are as follows. First up, Grace Hamilton. Absolutely. Second of all, Shani Williams. And Halisha Samoa. All outstanding nominees tonight. Josephine, the pleasure, please.
It gives me great pleasure to announce Halisha Samoa as the Wallaroos Player of the Year. This lady delivered her third baby 12 months out from this World Cup.
Wallaroos prop Halisha Samoa put on a show during the 2017 Women's Rugby World Cup campaign. Never shying away from hard work, Samoa put her massive fuel tank to full use in games against Ireland and Japan, delivering big runs and tackle counts. The heart and soul of the Wallaroos during their 2017 season, Samoa is the Women's 15s Player of the Year.
I've just got a bit of information here to read. Congratulations, first off. Incredibly well done. Eales is a Wallaroos veteran who was also awarded Player of the Match after scoring a try and setting the tone for a dominant display by the Wallaroos pack in the win over Ireland. How good was that at the World Cup? A humble and quiet achiever, Eales is one of the game's true gems and has earned the respect and admiration of all of her peers. Congratulations again. That is so incredibly well deserved. I just wanted to ask you a question there. Is it true that you had a baby about 12 months out from playing? Is that correct?
Yeah.
I couldn't get out of bed for 12 months after having a baby, let alone playing a game.
Well, I'm sure every parent in the room know, or every mother who's bared a child, 12 months is a very long time from the start. So, now that you put it that way, 12 months. He's going really good. He's beautiful, and it was hard to separate from him this afternoon and fly in. But again, thank you to ARU for making that happen. And I'll be going back tomorrow morning and cuddle. So that's all good.
And what are some of the great? You are such an incredible player. What are some of the great lessons that you've learnt on the field? It's just as much a mental game as it is a physical game.
You could learn a lot from rugby, especially being on the field and putting on the Australian jersey. It's taught me a lot as well, and it's rubbed off on me. You meet a lot of good people there, and you play alongside a lot of great women who have passion for the sport. Sorry, I'm getting a bit nervous, but trying not to get teary. But yeah, it does change you as a person, and when you go on the field and you represent a country and there's a lot at stake, you just really want to do well in your position and show that through on the field and tackles and whatnot.
How has it changed you as a person?
Oh, a lot. Has changed me a lot as a person. You are a role model on that field, for the young ones coming up, and no one's perfect, but at the same time you do learn. You can learn a lot, and you just play for those people who are watching, and if it makes sense, you do the right thing or try to do the right thing, and it shows on the field. So yeah.
And Eales, one last question. There are a lot of little girls and boys out there that have a dream but don't ever think they can get there. For whatever reason, they have a lot of challenges in life or they keep on making mistakes. What would your message be to those young kids out there, girls and boys, that want to fulfil their dream and play rugby, especially for their country?
You know what? Head up. The only way is up. And there are a lot of good people out there who believe in you. And so you just keep going and, live your dream and never give up.
That's Eales, well done. Thank you so much. Congratulations again. That's it, I've What an inspiration. Congratulations once again, Eales.
Yeah, well done. Well, now we are going to present the Sean Mackay Qantas Men's Sevens Player of the Year award.
Taken by Mackay. He makes the break. But good work this time by Sean Mackay. And Mackay goes over to score his 14th try for Australia. The Commonwealth Games captain gives Australia their second try.
Yes, this award is named after the late Sean Mackay, who left an indelible imprint on our men's sevens program. He captained his country in the abbreviated game and at one stage coached our women's team. To present the Men's Sevens Award, I'd like to welcome Sean's mother and father to the stage. Please welcome Leonie and John. Well, guys, thanks first of all for joining us again. You haven't missed one of these awards nights since the award was named in honour of Sean. What does it mean, John, to yourself and Leonie and family and friends?
It's a great honour to have this award in Sean's name. He played with pride and passion, and that continues with the playing group of these young men. We're very proud of him.
We know you're very proud, and thanks again for being here. And first up, here are the nominees for the Sean Mackay Men's Sevens Player of the Year: Lachlan Anderson, Simon Kennewell, Liam McNamara and James Stannard. John, all yours.
It is our great pleasure to announce the Sean Mackay Award, Qantas Men's Sevens Player of the Year, James Stannard.
A mainstay of the Australian men's sevens program, James Stannard led the way on and off the field this season. Australia's all-time leading point scorer in the World Series, Stannard played 54 matches in the 2016-17 season, the most of any Australian. A mentor for Australia's next generation, this award is a much-deserved accolade for the man they call Chucky.
James Stannard, ladies and gentlemen. He made his sevens debut back in 2010. He guided this young Aussie sevens team through a period of regeneration with a wave of fresh faces coming into the squad in 2017. Like a fine wine, Chucky just keeps getting better with age. At 34 years young, he's the most senior member of the Aussie men's sevens team, undoubtedly one of the most universally respected players on the HSBC Sevens World Series circuit. James, congratulations. You've won this award before. You must be delighted, though, to be honoured again, considering you're in your 30s and we keep hearing it's a young man's game. So what keeps the fire burning?
No, I guess it's just the enjoyment in playing it. I love sevens ever since I started in 2010. I think just the wanting to want to play, and that's what it's all about.
Now, many good judges are calling your 2016-2017 year your best ever. 248 points, including 14 tries. So what is the secret behind the longevity in a sport that everyone tells us, is so hard on the body, and it's a young man's game?
Yeah, I don't really hit too many rucks or make too many hard tackles, so I think that that's played a big part in it. So
yeah. That's the secret. That's the secret. Andy Friend, the coach, is here. Good luck, Andy, because that's the message to the team now. Don't hit the rucks. This year we saw a lot of young and exciting players make their mark in the World Series over the past 12 months. So that must give you confidence going into another massive year. You've got the HSBC Sevens World Series, you've got the Commonwealth Games on the Gold Coast, and you've got the Sevens Rugby World Cup in San Francisco. Wow, that's some sort of program.
Yeah, it's a busy year this year, but I think this year started off so far in Munich with, like you said, a lot of young blokes that are coming through, and we just built some really good momentum going into this year. So we've got a few targets this year on, we've got Sydney, Com Games and World Cup, like you said. So they're events we're turning up to win this year.
Yeah, great to hear, and all the very best for the coming season. This weekend, we should give it a plug, Central Coast, for the men and the women. So what can we expect from that?
Yeah, we're sending 2 teams up there, same with the girls, I think. You'll see a bit of flair this week, I think. The young fellas are really excited to get out there and show what they got, and yeah, it's going to be a really enjoyable weekend up there.
And you're still handling the sledging from the young fellas? Are you ruling the roost, or are they sort of ganging up on you?
No, there's not too much ganging up at the moment, but that could change.
All right. Our Sean Mackay, Men's Sevens Player of the Year, the veteran, and he's still got plenty of miles or kilometres in those legs. Chucky, James Stannard. Thanks also to John and Leonie as well. Men's award over, and we're going to roll on with the women's now with Natasha.
Thank you so much. As Greg just mentioned, next up is the Sean Mackay Qantas Women's Sevens Player of the Year Award. And to present this award, please welcome to the stage Fox Sports commentator Sean Maloney. Got a bit of a fan base out there, Shawnee.
There's 2 people there. I paid them. They're paid though, don't worry about that.
How much did you pay them?
Heaps. What?
Nothing.
You've got the questions written down. This is your jam.
Oh, I never... Trust me, I never stick to the script. That's part of the...
Good.
Just an update.
Good.
Stu did win the Bachelorette.
Did he really?
Yeah.
Is that a result? You kind of...
Oh, sorry for anyone that wants to watch it afterwards when you get home.
My table had IQ'd it. You just stuffed it for them. Boo Natasha.
Anyway, sticking to the script.
Sticks to the script.
HSBC 7 World Series is on again. It just keeps getting bigger and better, doesn't it?
Yes, it... Should I take that away from you? So Stu won. What a champion. Where have you gone? Come back. Tash, come back. Like I said, this is your gig. It is. The HSBC Sevens World Series, men's and women's, just keeps getting bigger and better. Huge crowds, electric footy, plenty of tries, and the looseness off the field. It just makes for a beautiful combo. It's so good.
I can't take you seriously.
No, I can't. Neither can my wife or family. So you're in good company. Go.
Now the women's. How fantastic is that, though?
They're amazing.
Yeah.
They've been ticking along so well. Obviously, Rio gold medalists finished second last year, and we look ahead to Dubai, which is their next tournament. I'm not a betting man, Tash.
Yes, you are. I just saw you take the tip on the... Didn't you have a sweep on the table?
Yeah, we're playing sweeps over there.
Who won?
No, we haven't announced the winner yet.
Yeah,
and don't do what Sandra Sully did last year. She announced the winner an hour before kickoff. So don't do that.
I stick to the script.
Good. So in their last 24 visits, their last 24 games in Dubai, the Australian women's team have won 22 of those games. They've won 2 cups there, so they're in really good shape. They love playing in Dubai. They love the desert.
Why?
Hard to say. We'll find out from the winner.
You're hilarious. Okay, let's stick to the script. First up, we have the following nominees. The nominees are Emily Cherry, Chloe Dalton, Alicia Quirk, and Shani Williams. Shawnee?
It was another outstanding year for 7-star Chloe Dalton. The Olympic gold medalist has been a key member of the Australian side since her 2014 debut, with her versatility and continual improvement a testament to her hard work and dedication. Australia's leading point scorer this season, Dalton will play a key role as the team prepares for the jam-packed 2017-18 season.
Yeah, Chloe Dalton winner. That's what happens when Tash Spelling goes off script. The winner of the Sean Mackay Qantas Women's Sevens Player of the Year. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Chloe Dalton! This is nice. How should we do this? Should we do Q&A or do you just want to talk for a little bit?
You haven't done so well so far this evening,
Sure.
but I'm going to give you another shot.
Okay, let's go again. This is, look at that. You've got that, and it's an award that means, so it really does mean so much, particularly to John and Leonie as well. So for you, how does it sit?
Yeah, it's a huge honour. I never had the chance to meet Sean, but everything I've heard about him in terms of his legacy is amazing. I think that the life that he lived and the standard that he played rugby and the integrity he had on and off the field, I think that really represents what rugby is all about, and it's the reason that we all play.
You've tipped out, yeah. You've tipped out some pretty handy opposition in your team, though. Does that feel good, kind of, a little bit?
I don't know about that. My money was on Emily Cherry, the GOAT, we call her.
Why?
Because she is the GOAT. She is...
But ladies, what, for the older people in the room, what does GOAT mean?
The greatest of all time.
Okay.
So Emily Cherry is probably one of the best people to be on a rugby field with. You know that no matter where she is, she's going to create something, she's going to create space, and all you got to do is just run a couple of metres beside her and you might get a bit of glory from it.
Yep. But then tries are scored, you can kick the conversions, you get the game restarted so well. You are amongst the best restarters, you're amongst the best drop kickers in world rugby. Explain to us a little bit about how much preparation has gone into that and what has led you to this point. Are you from a rugby family, for those in the room who don't know?
Yeah, so I grew up watching my brothers play rugby. They play down at Warringah Rats, and so when I was a little girl, I used to go and watch my brother play Colts and first grade, and at halftime I'd kind of run out onto the field and chuck the kicking tee down and kind of slot a few goals over from like 5 metres out from the goalpost. And then as I got a little bit bigger, kind of worked my way out, but it was always mucking around and never really had any idea what I was doing. And then when I was debuting for Australia in Noosa back in about 2014, I think it was, well, she saw me kicking at one of the training sessions and just said, all right, you're up, you're kicking against Tonga, I believe. From there, kind of just kept kicking and then kind of worked on the more technical side of it and spent a lot of hours there with different kicking coaches and things like that. Yeah, working on it, and I think once I broke my arm 3 times as well, I spent a lot of time kicking because my arm didn't work, so my legs worked, so I did a lot of kicking instead.
This one. Did you have the Mal Meninga cast, like the big cast for a bit there?
Yes, I still play with it. If you've watched recently,
I watch a lot of what. Oh, you know I watch. Don't call me out on that. You know I watch every single minute that you play. Don't do that here. But is it true also that you played an entire tournament with a broken arm? You played 6 games straight with a busted arm?
Yeah, 2 tournaments actually. We were over in London and Amsterdam in 2015.
Sure, 12, mate, double it.
Yeah, I already had a plate and screws in there and was in a fair bit of pain and hadn't realised that it actually fractured it again in the first game, but managed to make it through, and that was to qualify for Rio for the Olympics the next year, so it was worth it in the end.
You did that, and you won gold there as well, and you're now the Sean Mackay Women's Sevens Player of the Year. To add to this amazing trophy, I just need to check off some stuff here in the room. So we need gold in the World Series, HSBC Sevens Women's World Series. Check. Do that for us. Say yes.
Yes.
Okay. Com Games, gold there. Confirm it.
Yes.
With a bit more confidence, please.
Yes.
Yeah, we're bringing home gold at the Com Games. And then the Sevens World Cup in San Fran. We've heard M. Cherry and Chucky Sandler talk about it tonight as well. Gold's coming home from San Fran.
Absolutely.
Can you say it one more time for me? Say like, absolutely.
Absolutely.
That's what we wanted to hear. Now, before we let you go, we haven't done this tonight, but I would love for you, Chloe, to stand with Tash, off-script Tash, here, and I'll take a photo for your Instagram profile with these people in behind, okay? So, we haven't done this yet, because I know, because Chloe, no, Tash...
Is this when I throw it on our break, or we keep doing this? Okay.
Spin around. So, this is for you two, because we haven't done this yet, so that's okay. In behind, so arms up in the air for Chloe Dalton. There we go. The Qantas Sean Mackay Women's Sevens Player of the Year, Chloe Dalton, ladies and gentlemen.
Wow. Congratulations again, Chloe. And who votes for Sean to MC next year?
There you go. Is it safe to come up here?
Yeah, exactly. Thank you very much.
Well done. Yes, it's the most anticipated award of the year, folks, the John Eales Medal. And this award goes to a Wallaby who has earned the respect of his peers on the field for his efforts over the past 12 months. This will be the 16th year the John Eales Medal is presented. 4 players have won the award twice: Michael Hooper, Israel Folau, Nathan Sharp and George Smith. No one has ever won it 3 times. A reminder that the award is voted by the Qantas Wallabies on a 3-2-1 basis at the conclusion of each test match. To present the award, I'd like to welcome to the stage the man himself, John Eales. Well, mate, how do you sum up a year like this?
Oh, thanks, Clarkie. Well, it's quite an incredible year. I think the game on the weekend was just amazing and an incredible effort, and wonderful to see the crowd participation, wonderful to see the joy in the players and also the coaches' faces at the end of the game. And we all know what that's like, whether we've played for the men's teams or women's teams or young teams. We all know what it's like to get that breakthrough victory, in a sense. And I remember, I think what you need to think of when you have a win like that, in some respects, what you probably never think of, actually, is that for someone somewhere in Australia, that was the first game of rugby they'd ever seen. And I remember the first test match that I ever saw, and ironically, it was the game that Greg Cornelson scored 4 tries in. There's a couple of the other guys here tonight were playing in that game. Kenny Wright, I think, was playing. Shorey was playing in that game as well. And I'll never forget watching that game. I was inside watching it at home with Dad, And he didn't, wasn't talking that much about the rugby and stuff like that, but, we were watching the game. I went outside and I had a mate out the back, and he was about 5 years older than me. And when I went outside, he said, "Did you see that?" And I said, "Yeah, absolutely." I said, "It was a great win." I said, "But it was only New Zealand," because I didn't know anything about rugby at this stage. And he sat me down and he said, "You don't know what you just saw. The All Blacks are the best team in the world. They have never been beaten like that. In fact, it was a world record score against them." He said, "What you just saw, you never see." And so that began my education about the All Blacks, and I realised that actually that was something very, very special. But it was no more special than what we saw last weekend, and that was great. So congratulations, Michael and Michael and your teams, because I think when people watch sport, they watch for themes as much as they do for victories. And the theme I think we're seeing with this team is a team that doesn't give up. It's a team that came so close a number of times, but that wasn't enough. And that's a theme that I think has been repeated a few times here tonight. See, Alicia, I don't fully get the nuance of childbirth, but to be able to have a baby and 12 months later, get that award and all the other awards tonight. The theme of the Ward family and what you've been through this year, and the honour that you've given us here tonight by accepting the award, and the grace with which you and your community have shown in really tough times. I think that's what makes a night like tonight very special, and a game like ours very special.
Yeah, well said. All right, well, we can now reflect on the remaining tests in the voting period, the Rugby Championship and also Bledisloe 3. Curtly Beale returned from the UK. He won 3 Man of the Match awards. Another 5 players made their debut, including Marika Korobetti, who scored 4 tries in 4 tests. So here are some highlights from the remaining tests. The 2017 Rugby Championship kicked off against the world champions in Sydney. Liam Squire opened proceedings, and it was all one-way traffic from there as the All Blacks piled on 5 unanswered first-half tries. The Wallabies closed the gap in the second half to hit their highest score against New Zealand, but it wasn't enough for victory. Keen to make amends after their Sydney performance, the Wallabies shocked the Dunedin crowd to take an early 17-0 lead in the second Bledisloe. The All Blacks regained their ascendancy in the second half before Curtly Beale looked to have won it for Australia. Beauden Barrett broke Australian hearts in the final minutes. Beale and Sean McMahon were influential in a mighty performance from the Wallabies. After 2 losses, the Wallabies were out to prove a point in Perth against South Africa. In a back and forth contest, the 2 sides couldn't be separated. Michael Hooper leading from the front in a gutsy performance. Australia faced a tough Argentina outfit in Canberra, looking to nab their first win of the 2017 Rugby Championship. After taking a slender lead to the halftime break, they turned it on in the second half. Fresh off a win over Argentina, the Wallabies travelled to Bloemfontein to take on a Springboks side still hurting from a thrashing in New Zealand. In a brutal encounter, neither side could gain the ascendancy. Elton Yanchis had a penalty shot to win it, but incredibly, the 2 sides couldn't be split yet again. The Wallabies entered their final Rugby Championship match with plenty to play for, with second spots still up for grabs. Jack Dempsey made the most of his second starting opportunity, throwing himself into the contest. Winger Reece Hodge had his first international double, as Australia ran away with it late. Bledisloe 3 was a special match for the Wallabies. They donned an Indigenous jersey for the first time. The occasion inspired the home side, Sean McMahon lighting up Suncorp with a barnstorming second half run. With the game still in the balance, a 53-metre Reece Hodge penalty sealed a famous 23-18 victory.
Lamented Wallaby goal. Oh, there's a knock on! It's all over!
Well, before the John Eales medal winner is announced, I'm going to hand over to John to count them down, the top 5.
Thanks, Clarkie. Well, counting down from 5th to 1st. In 5th place with 129 points is Sean McMahon. Oh, it's going a bit... Well, it went a little bit quicker than what I thought. Well, let's just say the winner of the medal, the Players' Player Award this year is Israel Folau.
What a year it's been for Israel Folau. The fullback became the first Wallaby to score 4 doubles in a test season, breaking Lottie Tikiri's record for most tries in a calendar year by an Australian. Folau's vintage try-scoring form puts him 5th on the all-time Australian try-scoring list. Folau adds another record tonight, becoming the first player to win 3 John Eales medals.
2014, 2015 and now 2017 for Israel Folau, a new Wallaby record for the most number of tries in a calendar year, most doubles ever. Did you set any new goals? I mean, have you done anything different this past year? Because it really has been a stellar season, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's been a very enjoyable one, and you know, obviously got to thank my teammates and obviously the coaching staff. Without them, you know, I couldn't do the things that I do on the field. So it's been one enjoyable ride.
Now, you switched to rugby back in 2013, and I recall at the time that you weren't making any bold predictions about how you'd go, how long you'd be playing the game. But in your wildest dreams, did you ever think it would be as good as it is? 3 John Eales medals in 5 seasons.
No, definitely not. You know, there's some days where, you know, I might be in the hotel room and I'm on my own. I reflect a lot, and I'm thinking a lot about, you know, my journey or where life's gone. And I remember back in at the end of 2012, I signed with the Waratahs for 1 year to begin in 2013. Not even thinking about you know, representing the Wallabies or even playing the game. So it's you know, it's funny how things turn out. But you know, I've enjoyed every bit of moment that I've gotten the opportunity to do that. And yeah, I guess I try and make the most of it every time I step out onto the field.
Now, how good was it to knock over the All Blacks last Saturday at Suncorp and give the fans a victory that they can really celebrate? And where does that win sit in your many highlights?
Yeah, it's probably I've got to say it's up there at the top. Like Czech said earlier, you know, we've been building ever since the disappointing loss that we had to the All Blacks in the World Cup, and obviously a lot of people that aren't in that inner circle within the Wallaby group don't know how much work goes into the team, and you know, it's obviously you know, heartbreaking, disappointing when you don't get the results. But last weekend was I guess just the beginning, and I sitting there in the change room looking around at the guys with big smiles on their faces. It's really satisfying, and you know, I think it's awesome to see a person like Hoops lead the team really well. You know, right in front of with our leader Czech. So it's been great.
And you'll be lining up for the Wallabies against the Barbarians at Eales on Saturday afternoon, and then you're going to take a break. So is it time to freshen up? Is it before the things really step up for Rugby World Cup 2019? Yeah,
absolutely. You know, it's I'm kind of a little bit sad actually, especially after last weekend's result. I feel like I want to continue playing, so I might change my mind. But yeah, look, I'll obviously be running out there on Saturday, and I'm looking forward to that. Yeah, looking to obviously make the most of the time away, freshen up, and get ready to come back next year. Yeah, hopefully a lot you know, better.
Well, Czech did say before that there is a spot or two still available on the spring tour. You're playing winger this weekend, so we'll keep an eye on you. Czech will keep an eye on you. Who knows, you might be able to force your way back into the team. But all the very best. All the very best on Saturday and for the break and whatever the future holds. 3 John Eales medalists. You're the first one to do that. Congratulations. What a player. Israel Folau. Israel won it by 94 votes from the fast finishing Kurtley Beale. So we'll have a quick look at the final tally. And Kurtley, what a finish for him. And Bernard Foley, Michael Hooper and Sean McMahon can also be proud of their top 5 placing. Tavita Kurandrani finished on 111 ahead of David Pocock, who returns to Australian Rugby next season. Reece Hodge, Dane Halapeti and Jack Dempsey round out the top 10. So well done to everyone on the final top 10 leaderboard. A special thank you to all of the presenters. Thanks, Tash. Come on in. Congratulations to all the winners, and we look forward to an exciting 12 months ahead for Australian rugby. And, well, there's your first John Eales medal, and you can go home to those 3 tragics. You've got photos with Izzy, you've got all sorts of selfies.
Izzy's not only a fantastic rugby player, he just recorded a special message for my boys and I just sent it to them home. So I wanted to keep it for a Christmas present, but I couldn't wait. So thank you so much. It's been an absolute pleasure here. Thank you to all the outstanding players, the coaches, the parents, everyone from Australian Rugby. Thank you so much. It's been my absolute pleasure to be here tonight.
And don't forget the Qantas Wallabies up against the Barbarians at Allianz on Saturday afternoon. Good luck to Michael Checker and his team on the upcoming spring tour. Thank you, Natasha. Thanks, everybody. We're going to finish off the formalities with another quick look at Australian rugby over the past 12 months. Good night, all.
For all. And just looking at that leaderboard, gee, Israel Folau, 260 points. Huge. And Jack Dempsey there looking like he almost got Rookie of the Year. So interesting times indeed. Ned Hennigan winning the all-encompassing Rookie of the Year. That's a great award. Chucky Stannard, very, very happy for him to take out the Sevens glory. Chloe Dalton, well, we spoke about her on the couch just before. An unsung hero for this Aussie Sevens women's team. Some fantastic stuff. And a really good night for rugby here at Royal Randwick. And on behalf of all the crew here at Rugby.com.au, I'm Adam Fryer, signing off for another Rugby Australia Awards and John Eales medal.
Oh, did you have to go to jail? Put your house back up for sale. Did you get a good lawyer? I hope it didn't catch your tail. I hope you found the right man who'll fix it for you. Are you shopping anywhere? Change the color of your hair. Are you busy? Or did you have to pay the fine? Cause you were dodging all the time. Are you still dizzy? So since you come home, well, my bride has been a mess. And I miss your ginger hair and the way you like a dress.